time is 6:32. Stacy, can we have a roll call?
Miss Ray,
Here.
Mr. Bedonis,
Here.
Mr. Carochi,
Here.
Ms. Alcott Cordero,
Here.
Ms. De Leon.
Here.
Also present is our manager, Jay Finnegan, Township Solicitor, Mr. Gaduzian, Township Engineer, Brian Cucker, Director of Finance, Patty Caronia, and Zoning Officer, Tyler Mitch, and myself, Stacy Werkheiser, and we have Andrew Young and Nick Ithakar, our junior council members.
Can we rise for the pledge?
Flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'd like to announce that we did meet in executive session to discuss some personnel matters before our meeting. We have nothing to report on that though. Public comment procedure, we have two public comment periods. First one's at the top of the meeting where you can speak for 3 minutes on any of the agenda items. We ask that you come up to the podium, state your name for the record, and then address council with your comments. There's a second period towards the end of the meeting, another 3-minute period, and that would be to address any agenda or non-agenda items. Same process. Do we have a junior council member report in there yet?
So the only report that we have is that our 3 students from our school, Saucon Valley High School, cross country went to states this weekend, and Virginia Krause got first place, 4-time state champ, making history. So that's the only piece of news that we have.
That's amazing.
Congratulations. Thank you. Public comment? Anybody who would like to speak?
Good evening. Lynn Hill, Lower Saucon Controller. I wanted to speak about the budget a little bit. This is the 3rd time that I've looked at a budget for this township, and I just wanted to highlight some of the increases in these departments. And I'm referencing the 2025 projected expenses for a few of the departments here. The executive department, there's a 20% increase between the 2025 projected expenses and the 2026 budget, 20% increase. Finance, 19% increase. Police, 25% increase. Planning and zoning, 18%. Highway general services, 26%. Participant recreation, 24%. Insurance, 11%. When we had a meeting last month here about the budget, Tom Carochi, you mentioned, you suggested that we cut 10% across the board. And I have to say, I like your idea. That would cut back $1 million, and it would put us on firmer footing through the year. This business of having a budget where everything is overestimated is very alarming to people who are paying attention, who may not know the workings of the actual finances of the township. So I would like to see perhaps this tabled until next meeting and go back to the drawing board and make some cuts. And also, given that this is projecting a deficit, I think it would be irresponsible to add any more staff. When I first started here as controller, I asked for a census, and the 2023 year-end census that I was given. There were 9 employees that were administrative, including the manager, finance people, all the support staff. There were 12 employees, including Roger Rasick in the Public Works Department. And there were 13 police, including Chief Barr. And then there were 3 new hires during 2023, and then 2 open positions in that department. So now in that department, I believe we have 19, and they want an additional 1. So I'd like you to please just consider these points and perhaps make some changes to this budget so that it isn't quite so inflated. Thank you so much.
Others?
Go ahead.
My name's Rocky Visito, I'm a Saucon resident, and I'm a coach with the Little League. We are very much enjoying the new Easton Road ball field, and I know that at the last meeting there was some questions about whether it was there was some budget questions about putting water up at that field. And I want to tell you that the field is wonderful, but it's very difficult to take care of when you have to bring the water in at 5 gallons at a time. And I know we have a ton of kids that play up there, and we would really like to see that money in the budget this year to get water up to that field. So that's, I think that's it.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Nancy Polak. I'm a resident of Wassagossa Road, where the traffic goes speeding by at alarming rates. But my question is this: is the landfill owned by a Canadian company? Does anyone know that?
It's owned by a Texas company.
It's Texas, but not Canadian?
Texas.
Texas, okay. All right, well, then I heard wrong. Why are we allowing New York and New Jersey to dump their trash
Federal
on our
laws.
landfill?
Mr. D'Souza, can you explain the interstate commerce clause of the U.S. Constitution to the resident?
Actually, this is not the time for question and answer. It's traditionally a time for residents to express whatever they'd like to express. So, ma'am, it's your opportunity to tell us what you like, but it's not a back and forth.
Well, I would like to see that the landfill doesn't have to really expand if we don't take outside garbage. But what we do, if they do not expand, we're gonna have a big problem, because where is our garbage gonna go in 2028?
Well, the ferries are gonna come and take in a rocket ship. That's what they're planning on. They don't have any plan whatsoever.
I know they don't, I can see that.
It's unconstitutional for us for the landfill to refuse the trash from outside.
Also, the tax storm ahead for Lower Saucon households, where they predict $1,060 increase in our taxes when the landfill closes. Is that realistic? Is that logical?
Sure it is. To them it is. They don't really care. They have no plan whatsoever. We're running at a deficit budget right now, about $700,000 upside down. And that's going to continue, if not get worse. You heard about the budget issues. They have no plan whatsoever to replace that landfill revenue, which pays about 35% of the township budget. So where does that come from? It comes from you and every other resident and taxpayer in this township. That's their plan.
Figures that they
Because they're
made up,
morons.
and
They
we
have
all
no
say
plan.
that.
Their IQ is less than 200 feet.
I don't interrupt you.
A lot of people are under the impression that Lower Saucon Township is operating as a profit. I mean,
No, we're broke.
we're in a deficit.
We're broke, and we're gonna be broker than Hellertown. And they're
Okay,
giving
that's
your
good
money
to
to
know.
Hellertown. They're giving your money to Hellertown. They're giving away your money, and they have no plan in place whatsoever. They are utterly incompetent.
No back and forth.
What are your plans.
Go
Not a
back
single
and
person-
forth.
Not a single
This
person.
is
I'm not
public
going back.
comment.
I'm gonna answer this woman's questions because she deserves to have answers.
back and
These
forth.
people can sit here and
Hey,
hide.
Gazuzian,
but
where's
there's
your
no plan
rules?
whatsoever. So why don't you just quiet your mouth down, respect
Why
the
don't you
decorum
quiet
rules?
down?
When are you gonna control the meeting, Barbara?
Can I just go
Enforce
for
the
a
rules
point of
instead of
order?
yelling out at me. It is public comment, and I'm answering her questions. She's asking questions, and I have the decency to actually respond to her instead of being a coward like you.
Yeah, but
You're a scarecrow, aren't you? Yeah,
suck
no
it up.
brain, scarecrow.
And you become mean.
Let's have discussion outside of the meeting.
It's not. I'm answering this woman's questions because she's a taxpayer and she deserves to have an answer. Why do you hide behind your ignorance? And so do you, and you.
Can I please have a point of order?
Yeah, what are we doing with the timing?
She's
So
at
our
1:20, she's at 1 minute and 20 with everyone else. I stopped it when
So
everyone
ma'am,
stopped.
if there's anything else you'd like to tell us.
I just like to ask, the way I understand it, the landfill gives a certain amount of students at Saucon Valley,
They get scholarships.
yeah, scholarship. How much
See
of
how
a
long that
scholarship,
lasts.
how much of a scholarship is that they're given?
I believe that each one's getting $1,000.
That's a nice, and there, what, 10 of them or 12?
That's changing.
10 of them.
And it's not just Saucon Valley, it's anybody in Lower Saucon that has a student. You could go to Bethlehem Catholic, you could go to Moravian, you could be homeschooled, anybody that lives in the township.
Can you,
receive that scholarship.
Can you,
See, she doesn't want you to know about this. They hate the landfill, right? They have landfill arrangements.
and obtain the list of questions that she has so that we can provide the
Landfill
information that
arrangements,
she's
this
requesting
is craziness.
in an orderly and civil fashion.
This is what she
I would
does.
like to provide her answers.
Because she's a big mouth.
I would like to provide her answers in a civil way.
Okay.
Bye.
Sorry that
She
you
hates
were
the
in
sorry
landfill. Her parents live next door
Sorry
to the
that you were
landfill,
interrupted.
and she has a conflict of interest in her votes because her parents have a financial interest in this.
Okay, do we have others who would like to attempt to speak?
And she's a defendant in a lawsuit because they voted on things for the landfill in secret. So the township has been sued, and they've each been sued individually.
Are you
The
going next?
solicitor,
Comment.
Laura, Priscilla, and Victoria have all been sued individually by the landfill for violating the Sunshine Act, for voting in secret to reverse the township position without having public comment and the public awareness. And we're paying for this. We're paying for the legal bills on top of them wanting to cut off the funding that we're getting.
Okay, you're preventing us from conducting our
I'm
meeting,
not preventing you from
so
doing
what do
anything.
you want? Be
I'm
quiet.
preventing you from lying and keeping the public in the dark is what I'm doing. It's my job as an elected official to communicate to the public the fraud and the deceit that's taking place here, and that's what I'm gonna do. And I will continue to do it until my dying breath, even when I'm not on this council, and I'm standing at that podium, and you try to shut me down then and see what comes at you. See what happens to you in this township when that happens. I'm warning you right now, so you know what's coming
I'm
at
just
you.
calling for a point of order. Can we not have insults and threats and accusations? This is a public meeting and people expect to be respected.
They are respected, I'm
You're not
respecting.
respecting the
No,
system.
I'm not respecting you.
You're not.
I'm not respecting you
So
because you're the
just
most disrespectful
keep your
person
comments
I've ever
from
met.
your-
You are loud, you're obnoxious, you are a liar.
Of course.
You are a defendant in a defamation
Please
against me
keep
because you
your
accused me of
comments to
taking
your
$75,000 from the landfill. You are an obnoxious, lying person. You are disgusting. You are a lying, disgusting person.
And disgusting. Start talking.
We got a gentleman
Here
who'd
and
like
a
to
white
speak.
foot there and a
We
wah
have a candidate for council here who wants to speak. I recognize Mr. Zimmick, please proceed.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I am Mark Ozimek. I did not get on council. I only got 12 votes. Thank you to those who helped support me. So, this is what I want, and I bet you that this is what 11,000 residents want, because I'm here to speak for citizens. What I want to happen is for the budget to go back to Mark Hudson.
He doesn't
And
work for
all,
us anymore.
shut up,
He doesn't work here.
shut up, boy.
He doesn't work here. How can we do that?
Jason,
This is stupid.
If you can't control yourself, you can excuse yourself outside.
Go ahead, sir.
There is a way for you to excuse yourself and get control of your emotions.
Why do you shut up? Last time you tried to kick me and touch me and do all kind of weird things.
If you want to control your emotions, if you need to control your emotions,
It's
you
on the
can step
record.
outside.
You control your
The
emotions. You're
public
doing
wants
weird
to
stuff.
have their public comment period.
That's impossible.
what a ridiculous bunch.
What an example you're showing to the young.
Oh, you should talk to Priscilla. Yeah, okay, Priscilla. Princess Priscilla over here. Go ahead, sir.
I've earned it.
So anyway, since the Benonis team was in charge, and since that time, the public has endured lawsuits, waste of money, baseball improvement, and numerous other things, in which a lot of it was a waste of money, just like the hearings for the dump, in which case the other side never got to have their opinions stated because, of course, it was one-sided. And when he seen he was losing, he canceled it. So honestly, the township needs to take a serious look and put all the finances back to when Mark Hudson was here. No raises, no bonuses, no nothing. And it needs to start over at the beginning of the year, after these two are gone. That's what needs to happen. And we need to start with a new slate, a clean slate, and go from there. When COVID was here, everybody got bonuses, everybody got treats. And what's irritating about it is the police department has a union contract that they agreed to. The workers have a union contract that they agreed to. The secretaries have a union contract that they agreed to. So, the people that got screwed under COVID was the fire department because they got squat. They took money out of their own pockets to go out on 78, go fight fires, show up whenever there was emergency, and they got nothing. That's where the federal government COVID money should have went, to help people that needed it, not people that have union contracts and are steady paycheck. That's what needs to happen. The township needs to go back to when Mark Hudson was here and revert all the funding and raises back to that time and start over and start fresh. And you know what? If you're here for the money,
They are. They
and
give
not
themselves raises.
just the township, that's wrong. Because I'm self-employed, I was self-employed, and you know what? If you can't put out from your own feelings to do extra for your position, even without pay, if you're in a bind, then you're not here for the township. You're not here for the residents. Everybody in this freaking room needs to take a look at that. And these young people need to learn from it. These people are gonna be the future of Lower Saucon one day.
Hope they move away, because they shouldn't live here. It's a broke-ass community.
So, I don't have anything against you. I don't have anything that I don't want you to get paid. But the township needs to start
Give
over
everybody else 4 minutes.
on a clean slate.
Everybody else 4 minutes now.
And that's what I got. I didn't go through the agenda, I didn't look at much of anything else. But this budget, the way it was written last week that I have here, it's absurd. It's absurd. And I beg you, council, do not pass this budget.
After 5 minutes, after 5 minutes.
Hardly.
Bring on the baseball teams.
We have public comments, so if public want to come up and speak, that's what the agenda item is.
Good evening, Donna Louder. I am here to talk about Township Business Item C. Authorization to execute agreement between Lower Saucon Township and Heritage Conservancy. I do not have my copy with me, so I'm gonna try to pull everything out of my brain that I have in my head. First question, and I know it's not question and answer time, but each property that's gonna be going into open space or given an easement is going to be paid. It's gonna cost the township $15,000 to put it in the conservancy, am I correct? It's also gonna cost the township $32.50 for them to do the paperwork, am I correct? It's also gonna cost the township, and this was not specified whether or not it was hourly or by property, $95 an hour for someone to do the paperwork. Is this correct? They all,
This is their boondoggle, right? They're gonna take $15,000 to give to an organization where we've never needed this before. And in fact, if you look at their litigation that they have against the landfill, their argument about the conservation easements are that there was no third-party beneficiary to it. Right? That's what their argument is, right? And then now they're trying to create a third-party beneficiary, so they're trying to play it both ways. And they can't, because they're hypocrites.
Well, I'm standing here because I'm thinking that they want to put this property in perpetuity. So, example, if I would own a 30-acre piece of property and I came to the township and said I wanted to put it in open space, it's going into perpetuity. I die and I would hand it off to my offspring. And now my offspring has children and wants to hand it off to his children and possibly give them each 5 acres and let them build a house on it. That cannot be done. So how does the resident and taxpayer benefit from this? How do they benefit from it? Can somebody answer me, please? Mr. Gaduzian, can you please just give me an idea? I know it's not question and answer time, I know.
You don't understand.
The taxpayers pay your salaries and we don't get anything in return. We get a measly 3 minutes. And all I wanted to know is everybody gonna be in perpetuity? Are all the open space properties that are now there gonna be brought up again and put back into the Heritage Conservancy at $15,000 a pop? How many do we have? At least 40 of them? So, come on, people,
We got lots of
add
money.
it up.
We have so much money, don't worry about it. You just keep paying your
Landfill's
taxes.
closing,
Pay your
and
taxes.
there's no expansion, and there's
Ma'am, you
no
just pay your
money,
taxes.
and we're gonna end up being in the same bucket that Hellertown's in. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just keep paying your taxes.
If you can afford it.
So if anybody else would like to
Excuse me?
speak?
No, that is how it works. Did you
Get
read
control,
it?
they're having a discussion in the back, get control of this, Laura. Get control of the public, this isn't allowed under your rules.
Let's get to the base.
I understand how it works, sir, and I can do this.
What, now,
But
why would
the
you single
township
her down?
tax
Why would
dollars
you
are
single
gonna
her?
go
Why would
down
you see
here.
Chet Heinbacher talking to her? Why do you single her out? Because
I
she's a
am
Republican, that's
responding
why.
to his question to
Right,
me.
exactly, and she's singling you out. She is going after you, but not the other person.
I hear
So, now let's understand something. I understand the township pays the landowner for their property.
Please take this outside. Can you please take this outside?
Stacy,
Can you
this
please
is-
take this outside?
Hey,
We're having a
Chuck,
meeting here.
Take this out.
Can you please take this outside? We're having a meeting here.
like you stood at my cousin's house and.
Can I have a
Can
point
you
of
can
order?
I'm
Get your orders in.
Hey, Lee.
I'm not worried about why y'all lost yesterday.
Can I have a point of order?
A meeting.
Maybe the police can just ask them to go outside.
That's our newly elected council person disrupting the meeting. Let the record reflect the newly elected council person is disrupting the meeting. And you won't recommend him because he's a cohort.
No.
He's
Can we please have a meeting here?
If I didn't get my answer from him.
Can we
He
maybe?
didn't allow me
Can
to
somebody-
explain
can
it,
you
is what I
walk them outside for
understand.
their
If you just
discussion?
have a discussion, go out to the hallway.
Come out the hallway, I'd like to discuss this with you, please, as adults.
Police escort her out. Please have a meeting now.
He doesn't understand the situation, so he won't discuss it, because I do
Can you
understand
just
the
take
situation.
your
Very
person
hard
outside?
to not understand the situation, so
I
please,
do.
well, you should understand conservation easements. Okay, public comment, continue.
Dave Luann. You know, it's going to be really interesting when the two new candidates who have won election representing the Democratic Party. You already shut us down to 3 minutes. You do nothing but argue back and forth. You don't answer any questions. I'm absolutely floored you didn't even answer this woman's question. And Mr. Gaduzian, I see our legal fees are up to $250,000. That doesn't seem to bother anybody. I don't know how that fits in the budget. And then we have Mr. Ozimic up here saying that he is challenging and he doesn't like this, that, and the other. Not one single peep about what's on the agenda till the very end. He didn't read it. But the chair just lets that go on. And it goes on. And Priscilla over there with her red flags and things like that, she doesn't stop him. And there she is again. See how rude she is? And then she wants kudos from the audience. and there's Lynn Hollow, what's your name? Holloway?
Right.
Anyhow, these people are absolutely ruthless, and I'm really happy that they're in office, because now you're gonna see the Mondamis of Lower Saucon. Here they are, right here. Who? She doesn't even know. Okay. So at any rate, I got about a minute and a half here. I really love this, we're gonna fix the old Heller homestead. I see they actually put cover over the, plastic covers over the rocks. Now, it's only been about 30 years they've been sitting out there in the rain and the freezing and everything else, but you're gonna spend millions of dollars. And this, what you have here is just the first step in that. What I'd truly like to see is how you're gonna budget this whole thing. And you're gonna tell me you don't know, we can't talk about it. The public needs to understand you don't talk to anybody about it except yourselves. And it's well planned out in advance. And when somebody asks a simple question like this woman here, who I'm sure has been in this township a long time, you just make a mockery of her. We can't talk about it, says $250,000 Mr. Gadouzi and his law firms, okay? Can't give a simple answer. That, and there's Priscilla. See it, folks? This is how the Democrats shut you down. Well, the communists do the same thing, so we're a step away, but we're getting there. Thank you, Priscilla. I'm sure they're gonna name the homestead after your wonderful examples as a council person. You're just doing a wonderful job. I have 7, 6. Are you ready? Do you have something else, maybe a
Okay,
dart
do we
gun?
have anybody else for public?
No, I still have a minute. I hate to be interrupted by you. You reset that clock, please, because again, you see how that works? Not only do you cut it down from 3 minutes for each topic, you cut it down for 3 minutes for the entire show, and then you have VOC over here interrupting everybody, and then Laura Ray saying you can't do this, that, and the other thing, but she doesn't even control the meeting. Thank you, folks.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for your comments. All right, can we get on to these baseballs?
If we're done with public comment, I don't know, let's see. Don't see anybody else coming up, so we are moving on to item 3A. This is resolution 67, 2025, recognizing Hellertown Lower Saucon Little League Fall Juniors District 20 Championship. So we prepared a resolution for each member. Yeah, let me read it. So this resolution recognizing the Little League District 20 Fall 2025 season championship team. Whereas the Hellertown Lower Saucon Little League Fall Juniors captured the District 20 Fall 2025 season championship. And whereas Chris Heiserman and Steve Sell served as the coaching staff. And whereas after compiling a 4-8 record in the regular season, and whereas the team went undefeated championship round, and whereas the team won the playoff championship, and whereas the District 20 Fall Championship is one of the first one on the newly remodeled Easton Red Ball Field, and whereas the team was comprised of Adam Barnes, Stephen
Brigida.
Logan Brown, Ben Carochi, Helen Heiserman, Salin Mack, Bo Marogall, Cole Miller, Jace Pfeiffer, Brady Schroek, Jackson Sell, Jake Scuba, Frank Stragapede, Rowan Heber Fix, Micah Miller, and Bentley Wolf. And whereas council would also like to recognize the Hellertown Lower Saucon Little League for their support of youth baseball. Now therefore be it resolved that the council of Lower Saucon Township, Laura Ray President, Victoria Hottoff Cardero Vice President, Jason Benonis, Tom Carochi, and Priscilla De Leon wishes to commend the 2025 Hellertown Lower Saucon Little League Fall Juniors for their successful and memorable season, which brought much enjoyment to the residents of the Saucon Valley. This was adopted and enacted this 5th day of November 2025. And congratulations to all. We have the coaches want to come up, or how do you want to distribute? We have certificates for all the team members for that particular team.
Stacy and hand them out.
Yeah.
And if there's any team members here,
I think it's just Nick.
Okay.
Steve's not here.
Do you want everybody's from a different team?
they all have to. There you go. I want to thank the coaches, because I think the coaches volunteer and they do a great job. I think they're some of the best volunteers in Hellertown and Lower Saucon, the time and effort they put in. I went to a lot of the games, and the kids really improved and got better, won the championship. And I think it was the first two that actually won on the field, in Easton Road Field. So that's great, congratulations. Thank you for all your time and effort you put in, the players and the coaches.
Yeah, I mean, when we remodeled the Eastern Road Ball Field, it was with the intent to create championship teams. Saucon Valley has a long history of successful athletics, including baseball. It has done very well at the state level. Baseball has never, it's one of the only sports in Lower Saucon Township in Hellertown that did not have a lighted field, a lighted big field. And our goal was to create a lighted big field for these young men to spend their time, and these coaches to spend their time volunteering and raising these young men into the future of our community. And I'm happy that, just in the first year of this field being open, we now have three championship teams that have played on this field, and it reflects the wisdom and the foresight of creating this field for our youth and our community. So I'm happy that you guys did so well. You work hard, your coaches spend a lot of time with you, and I know many of you from over the years. And I'm proud that you're part of the baseball program. I'm proud of the coaches, and I think you guys did a great job. Keep up the good work, and let's get some more championship teams through here, okay?
Any other comments?
I just want to echo congratulations to all of you. I had the opportunity to meet some of your parents at one of your meetings, and I could tell that there was a lot of passion and dedication to seeing you grow up and become the young man that you are. So congratulations for this wonderful accomplishment.
But she wants to strip water from the field. She doesn't want to find water at your field.
In every meeting she's brought this field being constructed.
We also have a
Priscilla wanted to turn
second
the lights off at 7
resolution.
o'clock.
I'll make the motion to approve it.
I'll say.
I don't
Thank you,
yet.
Tom.
Jason made the motion, I second.
All right,
We
can I have a
actually
roll
support
call?
the field.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Benonis?
Yes.
Ms. Upchuck Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Carochi?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, and we also have a second resolution here, it's 68-2025. This resolution is recognizing the Saucon Valley Diamond Sports Connie Mack Seniors Championship Team. So whereas the Saucon Valley Diamond Sports Connie Mack Seniors win the Lehigh Valley Connie Mack Fall League Season Championship, and whereas Rocky Lucito, Brian Dries, and Greg Peters served as the coaching staff, and whereas after compiling a 10-1 record in the regular season, and whereas the team went undefeated during the championship round, and whereas the team won the playoff championship, and whereas the Connie Mack Championship is one of the first one on the newly remodeled Easton Road Ball Field, and whereas the team was comprised of Nick Werkheiser, MacArthur Gilman, Joe Dries, Joshua Coons, Mason Brown, Jacob Peters, Ryland Marcinson, Chase Miller, Eli Schlepptingen, Blake Riggins, Nick Dries, Caleb Hill, Mark Farrow, Jackson Sell, and Trevor Widener. And whereas council would also like to recognize the Saucon Valley Diamond Sports for their continued support of youth baseball. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of Lower Saucon Township, Laura Ray, President, Victoria Optop Cordero, Vice President, Jason Benonis, Tom Croce, and Priscilla De Leon wishes to commend the 2025 Saucon Valley Diamond Sports Connie Mack seniors for their successful and memorable season, which brought much enjoyment to the residents of the Saucon Valley. This is adopted and enacted this 5th day of November 2025. So congratulations to this team as well.
I started it, I move to approve resolution.
You want to join the light bulb? I want to thank the coaches and the players, and yeah, keep the championships around. Sorry your names were butchered. Mr. A is a third grade reading learner. Can you give me that? Thanks.
So rude. 57 days.
Yeah, coach can hand it to the people. Now, how about a picture? You want a picture? All right. He wants a picture. We're gonna do a picture too. Right in front here. There we go. You can hand your certificates. Maybe they'll put it in the newsletter, where they want to shut the lights off the field on the 7 o'clock.
And without,
And then if she doesn't want to provide water,
I mean, this is really nice. It's good to do.
all right.
And yet they have to do the test.
Everybody say we'll practice Laura will practice her reading.
Carol, I have to grow. I can't grow. I'm sorry, it's only 2 inches.
Okay, just look here, I'll be right back here.
My neighbors.
Okay.
Great. All right, thanks, guys. Thank you. Congratulations. Thanks.
But I don't know.
Roll call vote. Wait.
Ms. Ray? Mr. Benonis?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Dr. Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Carosi?
Tom, vote.
Yes. Thanks.
This
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Congratulations.
Item on our agenda is 3C. This is the Rosen Grant Conditional Use Hearing, CU 01-25, 43667 Route 278. We're going to have Steve conduct the hearing for us.
Thank you. This is number 3C on our agenda, conditional use application, Timothy W. Rosengrant, R-O-S-E-N, G-R-A-N-T, related to 3667 Route 378. This is a conditional use hearing. For the purposes of record, we have a court stenographer, and as an initial step, when the microphones are then on, we can then have a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make the motion to open the hearing. Second. Roll call.
Mr. Benonis?
Yes.
Ms. Autumn Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Carosi?
Here. Yes.
De Leon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
And before we actually start with any testimony, to remind both the members of council and the members of the audience, this is a conditional use hearing, which is slightly different than, something we don't do all the time necessarily. It is recorded by the court reporter, by the stenographer. It is treated more like a formal hearing where there's going to be evidence presented, exhibits entered, There's going to be an opportunity for members of the public at the appropriate time to, at one point, ask questions, and then at an appropriate time then to provide a statement also. We have a sign-in sheet that has indicated that a series of individuals have signed in, and at the appropriate time, we'll provide the public an opportunity to become involved. Before we go any further, can we have at least the individuals who are present for now?
Anyone who's going to testify, if you can please stand and raise your right hand so I can swear you in.
And this would include any members of the public who might be interested in testifying or speaking also.
Can I just ask before we go any further, they can prop the door closed just because there's some activity outside? Thank you.
Who made the motion to open the,
I did.
and who seconded it?
Priscilla?
Priscilla.
Okay, I didn't hear.
Yeah.
Priscilla, speak up. Speak louder.
I just ask also that the audience members that are here to observe the hearing, if you could just keep any laughter or sounds, it's very difficult for us to pay attention, and if you're gonna laugh, maybe just take it
Who's running
outside.
the meeting, or is Laura running the meeting? Who's running the meeting? Laura, could you control this? It's your meeting to run. Can you
Okay,
do it?
Jason,
Can you
come
do,
up.
you've been doing it for 11
All right,
minutes.
can we get, have they been sworn in? Okay, could we swear, anyone who is interested in this matter, please rise to be sworn in.
Excuse me, can I ask a question? I know it's not allowed, but how do we know if we're interested in it until after we hear?
Have you signed in for this hearing?
I didn't know where's the sign-in list?
If you get sworn in, you don't have to.
Okay, I'll be sworn in.
It's like a penicillin pill, you take it in advance.
Please raise your right hand. Please raise your right hand.
Yes,
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I always do and I do here.
Then, a little bit about the law with regard to conditional use hearings. A conditional use hearing is when a zoning applicant or an applicant brings themselves within the terms of a conditional use. If they meet the requirements, the application must be granted unless the evidence indicates there will be substantial injury to the public interest. So an ordinance that permits a use as a conditional use is evidence that the municipality has made a decision that it is not adverse to the public interest. Once an applicant for a conditional use has presented evidence to establish the standards in the ordinance, the application must be granted unless there is sufficient evidence that a use could pose a substantial threat to the community. This evidence can't consist of assertions, opinions, or perceptions of the use or its effect on the neighborhood. Before we go any further, I have a series of exhibits that I'm going to introduce to make part of the record. I note that the applicant is here. The applicant has a representative who I believe is an engineer, but he's not represented by counsel, by an attorney. So I'm going to do this in a way to essentially speed the process along. What I've asked is if you take one of these and pass. And before we go any further, I call Tyler Mitch, our zoning officer. Sir, could you state your name, please?
Tyler Mitch.
And I show you what's been marked as a series of exhibits, 1 through 7, or 1 through 8 rather.
Yes.
What is your position with the township?
Township zoning officer.
And are you familiar with the application that's before the township council this time?
Yes.
I show you what's been marked as township exhibit 1. Can you tell us, is that the conditional use application?
Yes.
I show you what's been marked as exhibit 2. Was the conditional use application reviewed by Hanover Engineering, and did they provide review letters May 8th of 2025 and October 17th of 2025?
Yes.
Show you what's been marked as township exhibit 3. Is that a location of the site provided by Meese Engineering?
Yes.
I show you what's been marked as township number 4. Was the Was there public notice and proof of advertising of the hearing?
Yes.
And is that what what exhibit number 4 shows?
Is that again?
Is that what exhibit number 4 shows?
Yes.
Was the property posted?
Yes.
Is exhibit number 5 the affidavit of physical posting?
Yes.
Is it dated October 30, 2025?
Yes.
As part of the review, were there agency review letters from police, public works, and the environmental advisory committee?
Yes.
And have they been marked as exhibit number 6?
Yes.
Did this application for conditional use go before the planning commission?
Yes.
And were there minutes, which are exhibit 7, which are dated October 23, 2025?
Yes.
And were there land development plans presented by the applicant, sheets 1 through 7, dated April 21, 2025, and then revised August 26, 2025?
Yes.
And are those exhibit A?
Yes.
On behalf of the applicant, is there any objection to having these introduced in evidence? Okay. Then they'll be introduced as exhibits. And I'm going to hand a copy to the court reporter so that way he has a second.
So Tyler can say yes. Yes.
Okay, he's paid to say yes.
Paid to say yes. These are yes.
Okay, so now I turn it over to the applicant. It's up to you as to how you want to proceed with your case. And what I'm going to do with your permission is, since you're not represented by an attorney, at some point I may lead you through some of the questions to sort of move this along.
It's understood.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm Tyler Freed from East Engineering. Beside me is Tim Grant, the applicant. First, I would like to hand out an exhibit here, which is similar to the site location map that was noted in item 3. This has a couple additional notations on it that I'd like to reference tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So before we go any further, we will mark this as applicant 1.
Okay. All right, so before you tonight is Mr. Rosengrant. He owns approximately 1 acre of land located at 3667 Route 378. This property is located between Black River Road and the Saucon Valley Square Shopping Center. If you look at the exhibit A1 that was just given to you, you will see that I have noted on there where the site is located in a bold black line. And then you will see directly to the north of the property is the shopping center, and I'll point out that closest to our property line to the north is the stormwater basin for the shopping center. To the east is Route 378, Route 78. To the west is Route 378, where this site gains frontage. To the south is the gas station, which is noted as number 1 on that plan that I handed to you. Across the street from the gas station is a auto parts warehouse. That's noted as number 2. And directly south of the auto parts warehouse is John's Auto Works, which is a automotive repair shop. I established these things because this property is located in the general business zoning district, and Mr. Rosengrant is desiring to construct an auto body repair shop on this property. The property is currently developed with a single-family detached dwelling, which is a non-conforming use in the general business zoning district. With that being said, the zoning ordinance does not have a specific use for auto body repair shops. So what we had done was we submitted a sketch plan to the township, and we had a staff meeting to discuss this project with Tyler. Brian was there, several other staff members were there. And that was where it was determined that this auto body repair shop fits best under the use of gas station and repair shop. So even though, as you'll hear Tim attest to here tonight, the trips per day are much less than what you would expect from a gas station, we still have to meet the same requirements as a gas station. Hence why we're here for the conditional use. We were also giving direction regarding the detached garage that's on the property. Tim has a desire to keep that garage and use that in conjunction with the auto body repair shop, and that was established in that meeting. With that being said, the proposed development is to demolish the existing dwelling. Stacy, can we have the plan set put up on the screen, please? If you could go to sheet 2, which would be the next sheet. Yes. So here you can see. I have that, yep, thank you, Bill. Okay. So here you can see, here's Route 378, here's the existing dwelling, gains access by this driveway, and here's the detached garage that's existing. That's the existing development. We're proposing to remove this driveway, even though the new driveway will go in a similar location, remove the dwelling, and retain the existing detached garage. Stacy, can you please go to sheet 1, please? So the proposed development is for a 6,000 square foot shop building. You can see here's the driveway, gains access in a similar location. We're mostly just widening this driveway for two-way traffic. This garage is being retained, and the second floor will be used as an office space for the shop. Ideally, Mr. Rosengrant would have liked to construct a build a bigger shop, but due to the zoning requirements that, based on impervious coverage, building setbacks, etc., this is the layout that he is limited to. So he had to move, there would be a small office in the repair shop building. However, the bookkeeping works will take place in this detached garage. So that's a rundown of the proposed site, existing and proposed. I'll turn it over to Tim to give you guys a rundown of his business operations.
Before you do that, I have a couple questions for you,
Yeah.
or at least clarify the record. Talk about water and sewer,
Yes, water and sewer will both be served by public water and public sewer.
and what are the projections with regard to EDUs for both?
It should be 1 EDU.
With regard to, and perhaps your client is the better person for this, but to the best of your understanding, your client owns the property,
That's correct.
and he therefore has an equitable interest in the property as the owner.
That'll be correct.
With regard to number of employees and hours of operation, that's better handled by your client?
That'll be correct.
The original dwelling's gonna be torn down,
Correct.
that's the old farmhouse.
Yeah.
How old is that?
Yeah, I'm not happy with that answer off the top.
100 years? How old? Tim, you know, how old?
Well, let's, for the purposes of keeping the record clear, if we don't know, if somebody else is gonna ask, we'll get to that at the appropriate time. Before we go over to your client's questions, Mr. Freed, you had an opportunity to review the Hanover engineering letters.
That's correct.
And with regard to I want to direct your attention just to the conditional use letters, because there've been other letters with regard to land development.
Yes.
With regard to the conditional use letters, everything that Hanover has set forth is you and your client willing to comply with.
Yeah, I mean, we can jump into that letter before, and go through that letter before Tim speaks, if that's what you prefer.
I think that would be helpful.
Okay. All right, so Hanover Engineering has a letter dated October 17th, 2025, and has the most recent review in regards to the conditional use application. Item number 1 of this letter establishes the requirements of a conditional use, and we feel that this project meets these conditions. As I stated, we're removing existing nonconformity. This site fits into the neighborhood, as you can see from the exhibit that I made out, A1. There's 3 uses adjoining, all have to do with auto body or automotive repair. To the north is the shopping center and the basin, as I discussed. That basin, from the property line to top of berm, creates a 15-foot elevation difference, so there's a natural buffer there. To the east is Route 78. Route 78 is also elevated, creating, at the lowest point, roughly a 14-foot elevation difference. And like I said, it's the same land use to the south. We're complying with the township ordinances, except for some standard waivers when we get to land development, which I understand is not what we're here for tonight. And there's one variance that we'll be requesting, which is for a de minimis requirement or relief. And again, I will touch on that shortly. The This project will generate minimal traffic. As Tim will attest, the nature of his business deals with cars coming in for repair for collision works. So a car comes in, they assess damage, order the parts, repair it. That work takes place in a period of 3 days to a week plus. It's not like an inspection station where you're turning over multiple cars in a day. And additionally, we had received recommendation from the planning commission for approval of this conditional use. So that addresses comment number 1. The next comment in the letter is number 5, and this has to do with PennDOT. We submitted to PennDOT, and we will obtain approval through PennDOT for a low volume driveway. The next comment has to do with site distance. This is something that's provided on the PennDOT plans that were reviewed by PennDOT. I've also provided to Brian, and adequate site distances provided. These next 3 comments, comments 7, 8, and 9, are going to require some input from the board or from council, and they all have to do with the driveway location. So the first states that the driveway shall be located directly across from the access driveways on opposite sides of the road. So, can you scroll down? I think it'd be on sheet 3 possibly. Alright. Well, if we reference exhibit A1 that was handed out, you'll notice that there is a parking lot across the street for the warehouse building, and that driveway comes in somewhere above this telephone pole, or actually it's like right here in the plan. And we can't align with that driveway, because if we align with that driveway, it's going to make a cumbersome maneuver to get around the building here. We obviously can't shift the building further to the north because of the building setback lines, so that requirement can't be met. And I will point out that
Could you get a variance to move the building closer within the setbacks so you could align?
it still would not. I mean, we were talking I believe there's a 30-foot side yard setback, and we would have to move that driveway, probably roughly 30 feet, so we would be putting that building on the setback line, or on the property line.
You could request a variance for that. There's nothing preventing you from doing that, right?
That's correct. So, going back to what I was saying there, is the ordinance states where possible. So in this case, we see that it's not possible to align these driveways. And like I said, this driveway is simply for a stone parking area. We don't know, there's no building that's serving. Comment 8 is also associated with the driveway, and this says that access center line points, except for single-family dwellings, shall be located no less than 175 feet from the intersection of any street or other driveway center line. So there is the driveway to the south for the shopping center, or for the gas station, the driveway across the street, and there's the second driveway across the street. That all these are within the 175 feet. There'd be no means to adjust this driveway in any way, shape, or form to comply with that 175-foot distance, as our frontage of one Route 378 is less than 200. So again, this ordinance states where possible, and we see that it's not possible with this requirement. Number 9 is about where possible, access to arterial highways shall be via a local road. In this case, there's no frontage on a local road. We only front on an arterial highway, therefore it's not feasible to gain access through a local road. So, and similar to the prior two, this states where this is possible. So we would be requesting that this approval be granted, allowing for the driveway to be in this location, and like I said, it is in the same location as the existing driveway. The next comment is comment 12 in regards to the existing garage. We were accounting for 2 parking spaces in this garage. We do not need those parking spaces to meet the parking requirements. We are providing 23 spaces with this, 21 without, and only 19 are required. Therefore, we will take these 2 parking spaces off of the plan, and no zoning relief is required. Comment 17 is in regards to what we're holding for the center line of Route 378. I have confirmed with your zoning officer that what we were holding is sufficient, or is to his satisfaction. Comment 18 is about obtaining a sign permit, and that is a will comply. Comment 20 is about the minimum lot width for this use is 200 feet, and we have 196 feet. So we will need to go for a variance to receive relief for 4 feet of lot width. And I'll point out that that lot width is along Route 378, and the adjoining use is a gas station, and to the north is a basin that's creating a natural buffer. Comment 21 is about the hours of operation for exterior lighting. Mr. Rosengrant will speak to the hours of operation, but in regards to the lighting will be turned on when employees are present on site and will be dimmed to 50% outside of those hours. 22 is about the location of the garage doors in the architectural plans versus our plans. The architectural plans were prepared prior to us finalizing the site design, and therefore do not match our site design, and the architectural plans will be revised to match our site plans. Comment 23 again is about signs and is a will comply. Comment 24 is about toxic and hazardous substances. Mr. Rosengrant has reviewed this list and spoken with his distributor, and there is the only chemical on that list that is in a small quantities in his products is acetone, and that is just something that is mixed into one of his paint products, which he can speak to further if there's further questions. Comment 25 is about the dumpster here. We are proposing a fenced screening around the dumpster. The planning commission has requested that we add some plantings along the roadside and the northerly side of the dumpster enclosure, and we will comply with that if that is desired by the council. Comment 26 is in regards to buffering that's required for this use, or more specifically the parking lot, and is requesting that council decide if adequate buffering is being required. We are planting trees along the northerly property line, the easterly property line, and along the southerly property line. Stacy, I'm noticing here, these are old plan sets. Is there any chance that you would have the updated plan set? You can just open sheet 1 again, with the old way at the bottom. That's okay.
I'll look on my computer over there.
Okay. All right, anyhow, those plantings that you see on the northerly side and the easterly side are also extended along the southerly edge of the southerly property line, and
This is the old one, yeah. I'll look on my computer.
okay, thank you. They'll be extended along here. Those trees are planted on 50-foot centers, and they're offset in a staggered 2-row format. Again, this is a buffer requirement. This basin is creating a 15-foot elevation difference to the north that we are lowered by 15 feet. Likewise, Route 78 is roughly 14 feet higher than our property to the east, and to the south, we are buffering ourselves from what's being considered as the same use. So, if the council would take into consideration those facts in determining if the buffering being proposed is adequate. That is Hanover's.
So before we go to the next witness, now this would be an appropriate time if anybody from council has any questions of Mr. Freed. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, Mr. Benoist?
My understanding from the application is that the plan is to have 6 employees, is that correct?
If that's what it says on the plan, that's what was discussed with Ms. Roser.
Okay, and I think the image that we have up on the screen shows 23 parking spaces, is that correct?
Yes.
So there are certainly far more parking spaces than there are employees who will be working at the site, correct?
That is correct.
All right. This is an auto body facility, right?
That is correct.
All right, so if I'm understanding this correctly, auto body facilities fix cars that are involved in car accidents or suffer some type of property damage to them, right?
Correct.
And some of those vehicles are drivable and some of those vehicles are not drivable, correct?
Correct.
is it your intent, or is it your client's intent to store the damaged vehicles in need of repairs on site on the property?
Yes, and that is if we can get the updated plans, that area for storage is denoted on the plan. If you look on the screen here, these parking spaces that are furthest to the rear of the property will be used and designated for those types of vehicles.
All right, and I see on the side of the plan, I guess it would be on the southerly side of the plan, there appear to be roughly 8 parking spaces, is that correct?
Correct.
And are those for the storage of damaged vehicles that are awaiting repairs?
So I believe the way the ordinance is written is vehicles that are in disrepair, basically that can't move on their own power, would have to be stored in that designated area. The vehicles that were stored here, or parked here, they could be vehicles that are damaged but can still be driven on the road.
Certainly, there are lots of cars that are drivable that suffer significant property damage, correct? So essentially, what we're going to be looking at here on 370 is a junkyard of damaged vehicles going by. There's no screen or anything else to prevent the visibility from the roadway onto the property to see these damaged vehicles.
Well, I think Mr. Rosengrant would agree that if there's a concern about where damaged vehicles are parked, that he could restrict those parking spaces on the side to only employees and customers picking up vehicles, so that way all of the parking of damaged vehicles would be behind the building.
The parking that's behind the building, is that going to be fenced off or screened off in any way?
Well, we were providing the buffer plantings, but there's no proposal for any fence screen.
So as vehicles are driving north and south on Route 378, they're going to be able to see around the back of the building, correct?
No, not really. So
Well, which is it? No, we're not really. Those are two different things.
okay, so let's, Stacy, can we look at sheet 3, which would be the sheet below this? So if we look at the grading here, again, this is the old plan. So the area to the south here will be planted with evergreens. So the only, right here, okay? So up until this point, we are planting evergreens going along the back here. So your line of sight from Route 378 looking this way would be between that last evergreen, which will be somewhere in this general area, to the corner of this building. So that's a pretty small area for someone to be looking at these, what could be damaged vehicles. So coming from the north, you have a basin here, which this berm is roughly 15 foot higher than the property lines, and this parking lot is another approximately 4 feet lower than at the property line. So this is sitting down grade-wise. So it's, again, creating a natural buffer, along with, you can see the tree plantings that we're proposing here along that northern line.
What kind of trees are proposed in there?
Evergreens.
Okay. The other question I have is, this township is supposed to have a Route 378 Economic Development Task Force, which was going to develop a comprehensive plan for the Route 378 corridor, because it's essentially the township's main street. And to have an integrated type of design and scheme, because this is Lower Saucon Township's main street. Can anybody on this council, Priscilla, Victoria, Laura, since you're the majority and you appoint all these people to all your special committees, have you appointed people to the Route 378 Economic Development Task Force? And if you have, has this been submitted to the Route 378 Economic Task Force for any type of input? I hear no response to that, so I'm assuming that the answer to that is no. They have not staffed the Route 378 Economic Development Task Force, and no, this has not been reviewed as to how it fits into the overall comprehensive scheme for the economic development of Route 378. If I'm incorrect, please tell me.
You're not.
I'm not, thank you.
The
That's a
task
defunct
force,
committee.
it is actually
They
incorrect, the
defunct
task
it.
force
They
was
defunct
created
it. They
in
defunct it.
2015
Mm.
to
No, it was
revitalize
that was
the area. They were tasked with, they were tasked with creating a proposal that would revitalize the section. The proposal was presented, and since 2015, there has been no committee or group that meets in order to establish or review proposals for 378.
Right, she's confused.
Right,
about
so-
it.
so-
There's clarification. There's clarification. I'm just getting the statement there. There's gonna be a clarification.
Stop.
No, you're not listening, no.
Let the record.
You're not stopping.
This
We're not
process
stopping.
is not providing accurate
We're not
information as
stopping.
part of the.
We're not
record.
stopping. Does anybody have any more questions? Yes.
Referring to
Actually,
the
stop.
Economic Development Task Force, which was tasked with the overall economic development of the township. There is a specific Group 378 Economic Development Task Force.
Do you have any questions for?
I'm making a statement on the record is what I'm doing, Mr. Katsouzi. I'm clarifying because she made a statement on the record. She wasn't a question that she
You
made.
didn't say anything about
You didn't say
that.
anything to her, so I'm
You
going to
couldn't
respond
tell
so
her to
that
be
the
quiet.
record is
Only
accurate
us.
and clear. She is inaccurate in what she is stating on the
You didn't
record
tell
here.
her?
There is no, there was no Group 378 Economic Development Task Force with regard to 378 in 2015. That's what I'm stating on the record, so please don't interrupt me, and if you're going to do it, then do it evenly to everyone, Steve. Please be fair.
Yes, I know, I have a question.
Mr. Caroci,
Yes.
questions
Yes.
of this witness, please.
Yes. Of course I'll just with it. All right. So vehicles will be towed to the property, correct?
Oh, wait, pardon me, sir. This is for Mr. Freed at this point. You'll
Right.
have a chance.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
If you could just
Right.
speak into the microphone so I can hear gentleman with the cap.
What happens when more vehicles are towed to the property than parking spaces?
That would be a question for the owner, not myself. I'm the engineer, I did the site design.
There's no provisions for that in the site design.
The site design meets the parking requirements as established by the
Right.
zone.
Okay. All right. All right, then I'll have some questions for the owner then.
I have another question. I don't know if you'll be able to direct it to the owner. Crashes happen 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Will there be any limitation on when vehicles will be received onto the property? In other words, can vehicles be received at 3 o'clock in the morning, or whenever an accident occurs?
I believe so, but that is again, an operations question that should be directed to the owner.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there anyone else from council that has any questions of Mr. Freed?
I think I had one question. Do you want to go ahead, Priscilla?
And I just want to make sure I'm clear on this, Steve. I read the packet, so there's different letters from different places, so I have questions on that packet, is that okay?
If Mr., you can ask them to Mr. Freed if you can answer them.
Okay, hi. So I read, I guess it was the Bear Valley Planning Commission's letter, and he talked about, more pedestrian access in front. And I know when, the Sheets proposal was in front of us, we were talking then about pedestrians going, on 378 there.
Yeah, so it's a great question. This is something that was discussed in the land development review with the planning commission, and I think I would like to direct that question to the land development review when we were before you for that approval.
Okay.
But I can say that the planning commission did recommend that sidewalks along the frontage be deferred till the time that it would be necessary and required by the township.
Okay, that's fair. And then, would be accessible to all persons, including ADA, which would be, closer to the front, the parking spaces.
And again, I would say this is more of a land development related question, however, we are providing an ADA space in accordance with the ADA guidelines. The location of it, we cannot physically move that closer to the entrance due to the existing grade of the property and the grade at which we have to hold the building.
Okay, then they mentioned something about an electric charging space.
Yeah, and Mr. Rosengrant does not work on electric cars, and there's a special certification from my understanding that he would have to obtain to do so, so there's no necessity for him to install.
I just wanted to ask, just in case, okay? And then, if I can read my handwriting, then I guess maybe one of the emergency people wanted a list of hazardous materials.
Yes, and I spoke to that earlier. The only hazardous material as defined in your ordinance that Mr. Rosengrant is aware is in any of his products is acetone, and that's in a small portion that is not, it's mixed in with one of his products. It's not just stored pure acid.
Okay. And then you talked about lighting. Will any of that lighting lead off site, or will it stay on the site?
No, on sheet 3, we show the, or actually, yeah, right here, we can see the lighting, and that lighting is shown staying on site.
Thank you. That's all I have for right now, thank you.
Victoria, did you have questions?
Yeah, can you just, describe for everyone how, you intend to have, customers coming in and out to the office to check in and out their vehicles, whether they're coming in the front of the building or the back?
Yeah, so again, this is more of an operations question, but from the site design standpoint, we have a service bay on the front, a service bay on the back. There's a man door for the office right here where customers will come into the office facility, and then obviously the parking facility on the side and rear.
And then, as far as the garage for the vehicles to be pulled in to be worked on, can you describe where you're having those operations occur?
Yes, so the two service bays that are noted on the plan, one's located here, one's located on the rear. Those are the two locations where vehicles will be pulled in, and then there is a paint booth on the top side here, that will be served by this door in the back.
Okay, so there will be, vehicles pulled in and out from the front, or the part that accesses 378, but I'm assuming if they have to be parked or whatever, you'd still park them in the rear?
That would be correct.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no parking in front of the building.
And then can you, delineate where you intend to have your trash receptacles?
Yeah, the trash enclosure is located right here. That's where, earlier I was explaining that this is to be enclosed with a fence. And as the planning commission recommended, we would agree to adding some evergreens or like arborvitae shrub plantings along the frontage of Route 378 and along the north side of that dumpster enclosure.
Okay. And then I understand that the existing garage you intend to use as additional, parking for employees, is that correct?
So it was determined by your solicitor that even though this is an existing garage that 2 cars currently park in, because we are changing the use, we cannot park 2 cars there in the proposed development condition. So we are not going to account for those parking spaces in the proposed condition, which we still meet the parking requirements, and that building will be most likely then used for storage and the upstairs area is an office space.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate it, that's all I have.
I just had a couple questions also. I noticed on the letter that you had dated April 21st, 2025, under the analysis of services for C, number 5, emergency services, there was a duplicate here, so I just wondered if it was supposed to be a separate comment, or maybe it was a typo. It was D and E, both referred to existing fire hydrant.
Which letter is this?
Which letter? It's April 21st. It's on your letterhead.
Okay.
So it may just be a typo that you put the same thing in twice, but maybe there's supposed to be something else you're referring to. Sorry, I know there's a lot of papers here. Yeah. Yeah, if you go down, it's C5, and then their D and E are the same, referring to a fire hydrant?
Yeah, I would have to look at, this follows a formatting in your zoning ordinance. So I would have to look at the zoning ordinance to see if there's a duplicate requirement or very similar requirements, or what exactly is being asked in that section of the ordinance that we're responding to.
Okay. All right, so my other questions then were regarding, on the plan, let's see, I don't know how to refer to the sheet. Is there number 7 of 7, sheet 7 of 7.
Okay.
There was symbols representing post-construction watershed boundary and pre-construction watershed boundary. Can you
Yes.
explain that a little bit, how it, I mean, it looked like it used to be the whole property, and now it's more like the outline of the building and parking area.
Yeah. Can we-
Usually old one.
Okay, the methodology would be the same. Yeah. That's Yeah, so if you look here, so what's showing here and you're referring to as the post-condition boundary, that boundary is what's analyzed in the post-condition, or in the, I'm sorry, the pre-condition boundary. That's what's analyzed in the pre-condition. What you're seeing here is showing up as the post-condition. That is the area limited to what is draining to the stormwater facility. We are still analyzing the area between the post and the pre-boundary in the post-condition calculations. I'm sure your engineer, Brian, can agree with this in our methodology. But that area would be considered bypass area because it's not getting to the BMP. What's shown here again as the post-condition is limited to what's drained to the stormwater facility.
Okay. And then also, I'll refer to the letter from the Environmental Advisory Council. It asked to make sure that the stormwater, anything contaminated with chemicals wouldn't be commingled with the stormwater runoff. It might be a note on one of these plans that I didn't catch. How is that handled?
Yeah, so this was something that was discussed with the planning commission. I've spoke with Brian's office about this. What we're proposing to do is, there's a, it's called a snout is what it's called. It's a inlet protection device that can be installed in the inlets to prevent solids and any floatable materials, including oils and those types of liquids that float on the surface of the water from getting into the stormwater management facility. Those will be installed on the inlets. Again, this is the old layout, but anyhow, you can see there's an inlet here, there'll be one in the front here, and there's also another inlet up here in the front design. So those will be used as means of, if there was something that got outside of the building, that's the preventative measure. Mr. Rosengrant can speak to his operations, but from speaking with him, they typically do not deal with a lot of fluids. They are a auto body repair shop. They are repairing damaged bodyworks, not doing your typical oil changes. So, one, there's a limited amount of automotive fluids being used at the facility, but two, when it is used, and as your ordinance recommends the use of, they use drip pans and dry sweep materials to prevent and eliminate any spills.
Okay. I think that's all the questions I had. Thank you.
I have one more question for you. The letter from the EAC reflects that the vote was 6-0 to 1. We have a council member who's a liaison, I guess, to EAC. Do we know who the one vote was against this and why they were against it?
I believe it was an absence, so it's 6-0.
One.
One
Is
absent.
it absence or abstention?
I don't know the answer to that question. We were not at the meeting. We actually did not have this letter prior to the planning commission meeting, so I think.
Do you know why the person abstained from the vote, Laura, since you
I
were?
don't think they abstained. I believe they were absent, and this was 5.5 months ago, but we could check the records if we're going to meet.
Why are you on the EAC?
I am, but the meeting was 5.5 months ago.
I know your memory's
don't
faulty.
remember
I know
every
you have a
single
good
vote.
memory, I'm sorry. I'm
And
sorry
who's
to ask the
absent?
question. We can move on.
Is there anyone from the public that would like to ask a question of this witness?
I think I'm the only one that's been recognized, is that correct? Wonderful discussion, by the way. On one of your plot, on your sketch plat there, you show the
Pardon me, sir, I apologize for
David
interrupting.
Boulan,
Thank you.
2023 Alice Drive, that's what I'm, PA,
Thank you, sir.
Lower Saucon Township, not for running for council. The bottom line is that you have a rather large area that's both in pavement and roofing, correct?
That'd be correct.
What is the percentage of that compared to the entire area?
It'd be roughly 50%.
50%, okay. I noticed that there is a series of lines that run parallel to 78 on the back side of the property, the back side being where the garage is. Can you tell me what that is?
Can we look at the plan again? I want to make sure that I'm referencing and speaking about the correct set of lines.
No, it's not shown there. It would be on the right-hand side of that picture.
This is the most current plan.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yes.
This right here?
Right.
That is a concrete line swale that is in the PennDOT right of way.
Okay. Now, where does that water comes from? I'm going to cut to this short. comes from the shopping center above it, correct?
Yeah, I don't know exactly how far it extends, but yes, the shopping center basin discharges into that swale.
Into that, okay, and that comes down into ultimately the Black River, I assume,
That would be
all
correct.
right? I'm getting to the point here. The bottom line is how much water, what do you calculate typical storm water runoff from your facility will be, and is it going directly into that swale?
Yeah, so our design discharges into that swale. This property is located in a restricted release rate zoning district, or in a stormwater management district. And we have to restrict the flows coming out off this property from, I believe in the 2-year storm, we have to be in the post-condition 70% less than the pre-condition. And then when you get up to the 100-year storm, it is 30% less. So we are decreasing the flows leaving the current site.
Okay, is that shaded area the restriction area that you refer to?
That's correct.
Okay, and that's capable of handling sufficient water to reduce it to the limits.
That's correct.
All right, so it's been reviewed. Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else from the public who would like to ask any questions of Mr. Friedman? Seeing none, we can move to the next witness. Sir, could you move the microphone closer to you first? Could you state your name, please, and spell your last name?
First name Tim, last name Rosengrant, Rosengrant.
And are you the owner of 3667 Route 378?
Yes, I am.
And can you tell us what business you're involved in?
I'm in the automotive collision repair business.
And is that what you propose to utilize for this site?
That is correct, sir.
Could you give us a brief narrative or an explanation as to what you're proposing to do?
Okay. I think Tyler covered it pretty good. So we fixed damaged vehicles that, like, maybe hit a deer or ran into another car, had an accident with each other. I've been in business for 42 years. I have 3 other collision shops that I presently run and operate. I've been doing this pretty much my whole life. And I have a nice, clean, well-kept buildings organization, and we do quality work for people. We still care, you know. The process basically is people call us on the phone. We make an appointment. We do our estimates generally by appointment. So somebody calls us on the phone, and we say you can come in at 10 o'clock, and we'll prepare you an estimate. From that point, we schedule a job. So we try to we try to control it. We don't just let people bring stuff in and drop it off and willy-nilly. We try to, bring in maybe 10 cars a week. And then if they have to wait till the next week, they wait till the next week. So we try to control the chaos instead of just letting people drop stuff off. And I also own a tire brake and wheel shop as well, and that is a very different business. So on average, if we get this thing going, we'll fix 10 or 15 cars a week, where I have an inspection station and we do oil changes and tires and brakes and that kind of stuff. We fix 15, 20 cars a day, because it's $200 tickets, coming in for an oil change, inspection instead of for brakes or something. So the volume of cars and parking, you need a lot more space. In the body shop, it's a lot smaller. You know what I mean? And that's about it. I mean, we bring the car in, we do the repairs, we do the refinishing, we clean the car up, and we give the car back to the customer.
What do you anticipate your hours of operation will be?
Generally 8 to 5 is our normal business hours.
Is that 8 to 5 Monday through Friday or 7 days a week?
Monday through Friday. Yeah.
What is the maximum amount of cars you anticipate on the lot? And when I say that, I mean cars for repair as well as employee cars, total. At one time, is what I'm asking.
Yeah. Yes, 15 cars.
So the maximum amount would be 15 cars on site.
15, 20 cars.
That's different. What do you anticipate to be the maximum?
I'd say maybe 20 cars, yeah. That's a difficult question.
engineer indicated there would be a plan with regard to the damaged cars. And I believe he indicated that the cars that were not drivable would be stored behind the building.
Correct.
You'd be willing to abide by that as a condition?
Absolutely, I would be willing to abide with all the rules of your township. I'm not coming here to make problems with anybody here, make an eyesore for the community. You guys also, somebody asked a question about, getting cars in the middle of the night. We don't get cars in the middle of the night. If somebody has an accident, say they hit a deer, and 9 times out of 10, if they hit a deer and the radiator gets busted or whatever, somebody asked about the fluid. Well, first of all, the fluid's right there on the road, so it's empty by the time it gets to us. But generally what happens is the tow truck tows the vehicle to their facility, and then we have contracts with like State Farm and Allstate and Nationwide and Geico. And we've been doing work for those companies for 30 plus years. And so somebody will contact from the insurance company, and then we will reach out to the customer, and then we would have the car brought to our facility.
So if there
We're
was
not.
oh, I'm sorry, are you done? I didn't make that.
Yeah, that's fine.
If there was a condition that no cars would be dropped off outside of 8 to 5, Monday through Friday,
Mhm.
would that be acceptable with you?
If that's the way it has to be.
And you don't anticipate cars being dropped off outside of 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, correct?
No, I pretty much explained the daily process of what we do and how we do it.
Okay. I don't have any further questions. Are there questions from members of council?
Yes.
I have a question.
Okay, we can go in any order. Mr.
Okay,
Leon, we can work our way that way.
I want to ask you, I know you said Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, but on the odd chance that something will happen that Saturday, I wouldn't want to see that you were in violation of something, like, do you want to just say Saturdays, I'm trying to be,
And so I guess really what it comes down to, I don't know, are there gonna be stipulations like that?
well, I
You
think
know,
there
I
are.
operate, facilities in other places, and it's, it's not like I have to abide by it. If somebody were to tow a car in without our knowledge in the middle of the night or something, you can't foresee everything.
I know you can't, but what I'm saying is you're being real specific about 8 to 5.
Well, that's our business hours.
Well, I know, but you're saying that, somebody works and they work till 8 or something, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's always those exceptions, I don't know, I don't,
Yeah, so again, I don't know, so our business hours are basically 8 to 5. I don't know if that means as we move through this process that somebody can't work late till 6 or 7 o'clock at night. That's obviously stuff that has to be worked through, would be the best way I would put it.
can somebody answer that question for me?
So before we go any further, what you can do at the appropriate time is we make a decision, you can impose reasonable conditions. And reasonable conditions can be hours of operation. And hours of operation can be, the applicant said 8 to 5. However, if you chose to essentially provide some leeway, although he said 8 to 5, there's nothing wrong with imposing a condition saying 7 to 6, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., which would allow an hour leeway in the front, an hour leeway in the back. And there's nothing wrong with having a condition of no deliveries outside of normal business hours, whatever those business hours are, except for emergency circumstances. So if there's an odd chance that somebody tows a car on a Saturday, he's not in violation, but you don't want regular cars coming in and out at 3 in the morning, I suspect, is what the township would not want to see. So I was trying to establish a record as to what his regular business practice is. After that, when the time comes, the township council can decide what conditions to impose.
Okay, so you can think about that in the meantime. Okay, thanks.
Sure, I've worked
That's all I have.
30 years. I've worked on it.
Can I?
She doesn't have a job.
We can go down the road, yes. Ms. Opta?
Thank you. Can you describe any signage that you are proposing for the lot, whether it's a standalone pole or on your building?
The what, I'm sorry?
Signage.
Propose to put a sign on the building itself, and if allowed, a sign in front of the building on 378.
Okay,
And again, that's all stuff, it's obviously our job to meet the requirement.
Do you intend on illuminating anything? Like
The
sign. Okay.
Sure.
And you're, okay with
I
complying
would
with
like
our
to,
current?
I would propose to.
Okay, are you aware of our ordinances, sign ordinances about lighting of, signs? Are you in agreement to?
I'm
comply
not,
with
no,
that?
personally, but again, like I said, so moving through this process, we have to meet the requirement. So
Okay,
if you said, you can go ahead and build a building here, but you can't light it up, I wouldn't light it up. It's that simple. Have to meet the requirement.
yeah, all right, I
That's part of the
appreciate it.
job.
I'm happy to see that this lot can be developed, so thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, we can agree if you have lights on the property, it would prevent vandalism to the vehicles that you have on the property, including break-ins, correct?
Correct.
So,
Seems to be a deterrent.
I don't think so. I don't know if you know the answer to this, or if I should have directed this to your engineer. And I understand that the driveway location is still pending. Is it your intent to control access onto the property by having a gate or a chain that would perhaps prevent people from just driving onto your property and dropping off vehicles that you may not even want to receive? You don't want vehicles being dumped there, and then it's your responsibility to get rid of it.
Yeah. Again, if it's a requirement, we'll be happy to meet the requirement.
Well, I don't know if it's a requirement or not, but is it something that you're proposing or that you're considering proposing that you would want as part of this?
It's not something that we need.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Fair enough. And as I see the plan, there's no indication of any sort of gatekeeping apparatus here.
Yeah. I've owned the property for a year and a half, and apparently the police around here do a very good job because there's no issues at all.
Well, we
with
have
that
a great
property.
police department, they're well-funded, so I hope that continues.
You can't, with the landfill, you can't.
Yeah. So, I think you said you have 4 other locations, is that right?
Correct.
Are they all in the Poconos area?
They are.
And are they all under the name Tim's Auto Body?
They are.
And can you tell me in what municipalities those are located?
The original one is in Paradise Valley. That's where I was born and raised. And then I have 2 other ones in Stroudsburg. The 4th location is actually Tire, Brake, and Wheel and Inspection. That's a different company, that's Trophy Tire and Repair.
All right, but the Paradise Valley and the Stroudsburg, the 2 locations in Stroudsburg, those are all Tim's Auto
There's
Body.
2 in Stroudsburg and 1 in Paradise Valley.
Got
So
it.
there's 3 body shops and a tire store.
All right. And in any of those municipalities, in Paradise Valley or Stroudsburg, have you ever had any violations for your operation of your Tim's Auto Body places? Thank you.
Well,
Mr. Croce, you have any questions?
Yeah. So when a car is brought to you and you decide it's totaled, right? How's that car disposed of? Because I seem on a lot of these lots, seem to see a lot of cars that look totaled to me, my unprofessional opinion, and they kind of sit there forever.
okay, so generally, those cars, if they're smashed like that, they stay right at the tow yard. They don't even make it to the body shop. So then it goes to what they call the FIC. It goes to a total loss center and whatever they get. And again, so if we have a car and we total it, we say it's a total loss. The insurance company would want to move them as quick as possible because they're paying storage on the car. So they generally sit there for a couple days and they're out of there. If they're paying $75 a day, they don't want that thing sitting there for a month like you're talking about. And they're pretty good at moving their stuff. And I think it all has to do with, there's many different types of body shops, if you're dealing with a guy that doesn't have like the contracts and the insurance contracts that we have, I think things would be very different as opposed to the way they work at my shop. So we work with the insurance companies and they're pretty bossy. They tell us what to do, but again, they're always willing to get their cars and move them as quick as possible, because they want to keep that tow bill and the storage bill to a minimum. They don't want to just waste money by it sitting at my shop for a month. If I had it my way, I would like them to sit there for a month. It's free money. You know what I'm saying? But they, you know, these guys are on the ball. They truly are.
Yeah, I guess
Not looking to be a wrecking yard. Not
yeah,
looking to be a-
that's my
not
only
looking to be a
concern.
junkyard, and
Yeah.
not looking to store some cars, and that's kind of what I said originally. Like, we try to keep it clean and current.
Yeah,
And like, even, like, some people, they might bring in 20 cars in a week and work on 5 of them, and they're sitting outside and everything's all disarray. I mean,
yeah,
we make a schedule, we have people bring them in, and it does deviate from that from time to time, but we work really diligently to keep things organized. And,
yeah.
you know, if you only got a couple guys, you don't need 20 cars to work on, you need 10 a week to get through them, get them done, and get them out, and make the customer happy.
Yeah, that's my only concern is what it's gonna look like with cars there.
Right. I think Tyler brings up a very valid point. You know, just the way the property is, I don't think you're gonna see much of anything that goes along around the back of the building, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean,
Yeah,
you know, you got a big, huge building sitting there, the cars are gonna be parked behind it. We got trees and buffers, and the way that, you know, the way it's gonna sit back off of the road and everything. I think you guys would be pretty
yeah,
happy.
that's my only concern. And the hours of operation,
You
stuff
don't
like
want a
that.
junkyard.
They're not, yeah, they're
I
not,
respect that.
yeah,
I don't want a junkyard on
You know, I think you should broaden it and be open on Saturdays if you need be, but
And
that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. 'Cause
That's
I
fine,
don't care about.
I didn't know that was like,
Yeah.
you know, you're nailing.
It's not mine, yeah, it's not mine, I don't care about it, all I care about is that it doesn't look like a junk.
Yeah.
That's really all I care about, and, you know, that you reasonably, you know, work with our engineers to,
100%.
with some of these variances that seem, in my opinion, fairly minor.
Meet the requirement, that's our job.
All right, thanks.
Mr. Ray, do you have any questions?
I do not have any questions. I think this seems like a good deal for the applicant.
Before we open it up for people from the public, if they have any questions, sir. In response to some of the questions, you referenced the idea that the insurance company doesn't like the cars staying for too long. What would be the maximum amount of time that a car would remain in your premises?
Yes, some pretty tough questions. You mean being stored?
Yes, and I'll tell you why I'm asking. The concern would be, I believe, from the township, we would not want to see a car that remains on your property unmoved for X amount of time, for an extended period of time. We know you have your job to do, and we know you have things in queue. So the township council may want to impose a condition, you can't have a car sitting for more than X days. But I need to know from you, what's reasonable for that, on your side?
Yeah. Again, if there's the requirement, I'd be more than happy to meet it, but I'll just throw out 30 days. You know, I really honestly don't know how to answer that.
So if the township would impose, say, you have to move your cars and get them off your lot within, say, 60 or 90 days, you could meet that requirement.
Absolutely,
Okay.
yeah.
Right.
We don't have cars sitting for 60 and 90 days.
But you understand the concern perhaps
Right.
from the township?
Again, you don't want a junkyard, I respect that, totally.
You don't,
That's not what we do.
I'd again go higher on that end, because you don't know, there's, you know, you need parts, right? You need parts to fix these cars, and you have no idea about supply chain issues for parts, right?
Yeah,
Neither do insurance companies or anybody else.
sure.
There can be disruptions. COVID, there was disruptions. So
mean,
something could sit for 30, 60, 90 days, if something like that would occur.
Correct. The other thing I could say is if, you know, we build a building and, you know, things work out for us and it starts getting busy, then it's my job to acquire something else to store and put and so on and so forth. And, you know, that's common sense.
And our manager, Mr. Finnegan, may have. Oh, sure. So, just so the record is clear that Mr. Finnegan's question actually not of you, but of our township engineer.
So be also the applicant. Mr. Rosenkrantz, do you believe your application meets the intent of the Lower Saucon Township zoning ordinances?
Yes.
Do you believe it has any threat to public health, safety, or welfare?
No, sir.
Brian, the question came up, and I believe it was Laura that asked it relative to the discharge of hazardous material that was brought up by the EAC. Did you review that as requested?
I did.
Would you please share that so it's on the record?
The, Mr. Freed's explanation on how they're gonna handle that is something he worked out with our office. They're gonna add snouts to the inlets and handle as much of any type of spills inside the building. And that was the best way we felt it would comply with your ordinances.
Yeah, just so the record corrected, to answer Mr. Bononis's question on the vote, there was 6-0-1. There was one member absent, and that was recorded as an absent vote. Person was not present at the meeting. The minutes are on the website, knowing who was present and who was absent. That's all I have.
Thank you. Is there any members of the public that have a question for this witness? Okay, seeing none. On behalf of the applicant, do you have any additional evidence you want to present? You may or may not know this, but your exhibit, you want to move in evidence, correct?
That's correct.
And that will be introduced as, or that will be accepted as A1. With that, at this time, it would be appropriate if we have a motion to close the hearing.
Make a motion to close the hearing?
I'll second.
If we could have a roll call.
Mr. Caroci?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Bononis?
Yes.
Ms. Southpaw Cordero?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Before we move on to the next agenda item, we have then 45 days in which to issue a decision. What I propose we do now is we move on to the next agenda item, and at a later date, we can bring this back for further discussion. I will draft a proposed order, proposed questions, and then to be addressed by council, then ultimately we'll have a written decision in accordance with the statute. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, the next item on the agenda is 4A, the MPC extension for St. Luke's Land Development, LS 02-24. I would make the motion that we grant the extension under the MPC deadline of January 31st, 2026.
Of course, we're supporting your landfill litigation. Of course you will. You're
I'll second.
embedded in your landfill litigation, so are our parents will sue. Yes,
Second on the motion?
Oh,
I second.
they're awful.
Stacy, you're there.
I did, thank you.
Okay, sandwich water in there?
Yeah, let's have a roll call.
No, we have comment, we have comment.
You're just
Public
muttering
comments,
here.
no, that's why we're in the comments, we're in comment.
Don't accuse me of muttering, I'm sitting here,
Right.
be respectful for a change.
Right. That's right. Remember
Please,
reading.
please do.
Good, yeah, I'm going, you know?
Yeah, I'd like to know, so there's a document that's attached to this, it's on Lower Saucon Township Council letterhead, it's a 365-day extension request, it says applicant's authorized representative, and there's a scribble here, who signed this?
That would be their engineer.
Who's in here? Our engineer or yours?
St. Louis.
But who's the person's name? What's the person's name? It's not printed there.
Joe, the engineer.
So we have an extension request that has a signature, we don't know who signed it. Okay, do we have a reason why they're requesting an extension? Because that doesn't say, it just says they're requesting it. They're requesting a year. Why are they requesting a year? Can anybody answer that question? Can our zoning officer answer that question for me?
I can answer.
Can our engineer answer that question for me? Can our acting township manager answer that question for me?
Sure. The FPC allows the developer to grant the township an extension for the review. They have made submissions to the required agency, including PennDOT, and PennDOT has still not finished the review, and they also have got to go through MPDS permits, and those are usually taking anywhere from 6 to 9 months, so the extension to January 31st, 2027. It's been in my role as a manager, it's actually not a motion by council because the developer has granted the extension and council does not have to take any action.
Okay, it's on the agenda, so I'm gonna ask questions about it.
Okay.
Somebody put it on here. Who put it on here?
You have to put it on there so that it's into the record that the developer has given you so that the council or any elected body would not just take action on it in the interim.
When was the submission made to PennDOT?
I think the second and third submission went in this week, Brian.
I didn't see it.
Okay, what was submitted to PennDOT?
Revised plans for their access onto a state highway.
So it's a driveway permit they're looking for from PennDOT?
I believe it's a driveway and an access permit that would include maybe a stub road.
Okay, what's the typical turnaround time for PennDOT to review and approve or comment on driveway and access permits?
Jason, I can be perfectly honest with you, I have seen it take up to 3 years.
Okay.
I believe there is at least 2 that I know of in other municipalities that have been under review by PennDOT for that period of time right now.
And the MPDS permits, those are to DEP?
Correct.
And when were they submitted?
I wouldn't have a date off the top of my head.
Okay, do you know what was submitted?
An application for stormwater management.
Okay, and do we know what the turnaround time is typically for that from DEP?
Again, I have seen them take 2 years plus.
Okay.
I believe we had one of these requests on our statements on the last meeting. It was for different, I think it was for Sheets's. Where they asked for an extension.
Yeah, but, I mean,
Their extension was different because there's plans that have been approved.
We don't have any plans that have been approved for this, correct? Correct. So we're giving an open-ended extension for a year for a driveway permit, an access permit, and MPDS permits. We haven't seen any plans whatsoever for this property.
You would not be granted an extension. The applicant, property owner, is giving the township the extension.
Different thing, and we've done this in the past. So I think we should just move on.
And it has gone through review, they have a link, they have a letter from my office, and they've gone to the planning commission.
Okay.
But they have not recently addressed it.
Thank you, I appreciate that, Brian.
Well,
Thank you, Jay, as well.
You're welcome.
my concern is the document, it says applicant's signature is blank. Then it says applicant's authorized representative, and it's illegible. It should be a name, but it's fine if the signature was ineligible, but the applicant's authorized representative.
If the council so desires, you can not note for the record, and we will get the name of the signature for the next meeting and add it back on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we should make it a regular practice to just take, there's literally no name on here of who's submitting this as an authorized representative of St. Luke's Health Network, no. You can't tell me who signed that at this time.
Point, Tom, but I think then we need to change our paperwork and have printed name and then signature
Well, I
line.
think that's what Tom suggested, it's pretty obvious, right?
I think this is the procedure that's been used by this council for years. In my opinion, that the request for the extension should actually be on the applicant's letterhead,
Yes.
but
Yeah. I mean, it says, the Dear Lower Saucon Township Council, and it's on our letterhead. And then, I mean, whatever the practice is, I don't remember one, not having a legible name of an applicant who's supposedly authorized by, in this case, St. Luke's, or who's ever filing. And, if for some reason it was unreadable, I mean, somebody would know. Either zoning officer, township manager, engineer. And because it normally wouldn't be on our letterhead, I don't believe.
The other option before council is you grant the extension with the condition that the person who signed it on behalf of St. Luke's is identified. You can do that too.
Yeah, I'd like that.
We're not approving it, I thought.
No, we can approve it, like you said, approve it, but identify the person. That's what you said, right, Steve?
That's what I propose as an
She's-
alternative.
yeah. I'm fine with that alternative. I'm fine with that alternative. I think we should make it a normal course that we have these people identified.
Okay,
You can approve it, you can still approve it tonight, you just identify the person.
I'll amend my motion then to include that we're doing this extension for 1 year with the condition that the applicant's authorized representatives may be identified
For township record.
for our records. Do you want to amend your second, Victoria?
Yes.
Okay, can we do a roll
So
call?
you run a township.
Ms. DeLeon,
Yes.
Ms. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Benonis,
Yes.
Ms. Altough Cordero,
Yes.
Mr. Carochi.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Right, next item is 5A, discussion on budget item and authorization to advertise the 2026 proposed budget for public inspection.
I'd like to make a motion on it.
I'd like to make comment.
I
I'll make a
move to
motion we do
authorize the
it.
advertising of the 2026 Lower Saucon budget with the following modifications to the budget presented by township staff at the October 15th council meeting. Additions to include council wage adjustment for $4,801. Revised police MMO in the amount of $26,765. Conservation dues subscriptions in the amount of $1,500. Increase in allocation for financial strategic planning in the amount of $2,000. LVPC study in the amount of $10,000. Deletions to include adjustment to health insurance in the amount of $43,410. Revised non-union MMO in the amount of $1,290. And engineering for water at Easton Road, Ballfield in the amount of $20,000, resulting in a budget transfer from the reserves of $1,710,587,000, which is a difference from the original budget transfer from reserves presented at the October 15th, 2025 budget. That's my motion.
I'd like to amend it to removal of the piece. I'm gonna
There
have
was a
comment.
second
I'm
by
gonna talk.
Priscilla.
You can't amend.
I can comment.
the motion.
I comment then. I'm gonna comment.
Seconded.
And we have a second, we didn't get that.
Okay. So, just for the record, you wanna take the $20,000 out for engineering for water for the Eastern Road Ballfield, correct?
It's in the motion.
Yep. So she wants to, take that out, all baseball parents. Please note that. And what they wanna keep in though, is their money to go to PSATs. So they can spend couple days at the Hershey Spa Resort there, on taxpayer dollars. And, they're gonna keep that in, but they won't water the baseball field for our little leaguers and our juniors and our Connie Mac team. But they'll go to the Hershey Spa and resort for a week and bum around on taxpayer dollars. They'll also, pay themselves, $17,500. I think some members will make more than others. We'll take the pay increase. What else they wanna do? They wanna, there's one other thing I wanted to talk about. Oh, they want to, did you reduce the funding for $1,000 to charity, to certain charities? They want, so they're gonna give to some charities that they have some ties to. What is that, $1,500, Shay, in the budget? For, who was it, the Miracle League, and what else, Shay?
There was, money in the budget for Miracle
Yeah,
League.
that one was, it was reduced to the 1,500, well, the proposed, what Jay
But that's not in their motion. So Priscilla's charity's gonna get a little bit more than,
These are in the budget.
or not Priscilla, I'm sorry, Victoria's.
That's in the budget.
Right. But most are receiving only 1,500, correct? The other charities in that
It's
list.
been like that for a number of years.
Victoria's charity's getting an extra 1,000.
This is not touching
Right,
those.
so Victoria's charity's getting an extra 1,000, and again, the other charities are only at 1,500, right?
It's not her personal charity.
You're right, yes. The one that she does. Yeah, can you bring that up? Yeah, can you bring that up, please? Thank you, yes. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so here we are.
That's the correct.
There we go, yeah. So the kids do the football, wrestling, basketball, the cheerleading, they only get $1,500. Victoria's charity, the Miracle League of Northampton County, it's not even the Miracle League of Lower Saucon Township, if there is one, gets an extra 1,000. And they don't want to spend, money on engineering for water for the ball field. But they want to go to Hershey for a week and on taxpayer dollars.
As a side note, a lot of these organizations aren't even getting this money because some of them don't even know because someone reaching out to them.
Yeah.
So we probably haven't hit this budget amount for the last couple of years.
Okay.
I can't hear you, Patty.
For the record, I don't even think we've hit this budget amount for the past couple of years because some of these organizations, the turnover is pretty high and they aren't even aware that they're being awarded the money. So we've been trying to reach out to the people from 2025 and saying that this money is available for them. So just for the record.
And they're also gonna, they also took, in this budget, $1 million in the open space fund, right, for this barn that Priscilla wants to resurrect or preserve. So there's $1 million in the open space fund.
That $1 million is for the purchase of open space land, not for the rental.
But we just got an opinion from their lackey on the EAC that says the open space money can be used to preserve that barn, to restore that barn.
Correct, but there's nothing in the 2026 budget. But
So you're telling me that money is solely restricted for purchase of open space? That $1 million that's been transferred from the fund, that's budgeted for this?
That's open space money, it's not, it could be used any way council decides, but.
There you go. You couldn't just lead with that.
Can I finish?
Yes.
But there is nothing in there that says that this is dedicated to the Heller Homestead. But there is an opinion that a certain amount of the open space money, which would be far less than the $1 million, can be used for it.
Does anything in there say it can only be used for purchase of open space?
Not the way the open space legislation is.
In our budget, what did you just say? You just said there's nothing in our budget that says that that's earmarked for the restoration of the barn.
I believe that the opinion from the solicitor for open space indicates that a certain percentage can be used on it.
Percentage of what?
What is in the fund?
Right. What is in the fund, right? So this 1 million comes from the fund, right?
I have seen no plans that will indicate that this is going to be used in 2026 for the improvements of the Heller.
But you've seen no plans that it's going to be used for the acquisition of property either.
Correct.
So you don't know what it's going to be used for.
Correct.
It may not
So
be
why would you,
used
I'm asking him, I'm asking him, you can comment when it's your time to comment, boss. You can talk, so this is what they're doing, they're taking $1 million out of the open space fund for Priscilla's barn that she wants to restore. And that's taxpayer dollars, that money in the open space fund is taxpayer dollars. They're misrepresenting to the public that it's for some acquisition. As Jay just said, that it's not restricted to acquisition, and it can be used for anything. It can be used for anything, and they went out and got an opinion from the lackey attorney on EAC to allow them to do it. Just for transparency, people should know. It doesn't matter. A lot of people might say that's fine, spend $1 million on the barn. A lot of people may say not, but people should know, and they should know the tricks you're trying to do to get it there, and the cover-up that's happening in this budget. $1 million, but they won't spend $20,000 to get water for the Eastern Road field, to engineer it for the Eastern Road
Planning.
field. For our kids, for our kids, for our kids, for our kids. But they'll go to the Hershey Spa Resort and hang out on taxpayer dollars.
That's where you get, Tom.
Yeah, that's right. So then again, even Ms. Hill said that there's really no cuts. There's increases in spending almost across the board in this budget. And, you know, I don't feel like I should be the one to propose cuts because I'm for the landfill expanding and we wouldn't need big cuts in landfill. But they're actively fighting landfill expansion. So this is, you know, this is financially disastrous for the township not to start making cuts. Look at that. Look what they can't even cut. You know, they can't even cut, like I said, money to go to their conference. How are they gonna make tough cut decisions? We had Chief Barn up here talking about that. You know, he would have to lay people off if he had a 10% cut, 20% cut. And they're not preparing for the future. Part of me is like, it's gonna be sad, but they will be fully responsible for the coming economic disaster that this township will be in. Because they can't even propose cuts now, ahead of time, and plan for the future. They're not proposing any cuts of any substance. It's disgraceful.
I have some proposals, we go.
Yeah. For now.
Yeah, my proposals are that there be no township taxpayer funding of any costs and fees associated with attending PSATs.
There's a motion on the floor again.
I'm speaking, please, don't interrupt me.
Motion on the floor.
Priscilla, I know you love to go to PSATs. Get the handicap room on the first floor of the Hershey Lodge, you get a little party, you put the booze in the tub or whatever you do, and you have your little shindig.
We know she likes a
The
chocolate.
township taxpayers are paying
She
for
likes a
stuff,
chocolate.
right? And we're in a cataclysmic budget state. We're running at a $700,000 deficit. You've come up with no ideas to cut that deficit, and we continue on this path to ruin. You've got no ideas whatsoever because you're utterly incompetent. Well, then allow me to finish. I think we should also eliminate a taxpayer funding for all township council persons. There's no reason these people should be paid. They don't know what they're doing. They don't deserve to be paid. I think we should reduce the local municipal tax to 1 mil until we deplete the reserve fund down to 25% of the future annual expenditures. And the reason for that is you are sitting on a cushion that you created, and you're using that to try to hide exactly what it is that you're doing, and that is taking away the landfill contributions to the township, and you're going to try to soften that blow and hide it until you can't be on this council anymore, and you're going to leave that mess for somebody else to deal with, and you're going to own that. I think we should also reduce the fire services tax back to the December 2023 level. There's been no indication whatsoever that there is a need to increase that fire services tax. You three are the ones that rated the fire services tax to prepay the installment payments on a fire truck that did not need to be prepaid. When we purchased it, there was an agreement in place, and instead you wanted to raid that so that you could create the illusion of a need which did not exist. And there's also, as far as I understand, and I asked this yesterday of Chief Johnson and Scott Carisha, and they did not respond to me. I wanted to know what the response times were for Lower Saucon Township, because I'm hearing that there are delays, and I don't know if there are or if they're not. And if they can prove that there are, then maybe there's a justification. But if they can prove that there are not delays in responding, then what's the justification for increasing the fire services tax when it's funded? We're buying pieces of apparatus at millions of dollars. I think we should also eliminate taxpayer funding of any landfill-related litigation, including and but not limited to opposition to the landfill expansion, as well as your violations of the Sunshine Act, which we are now defendants in and spending money on. So we're using township taxpayer money to try to kill the golden goose that's giving us $2.5 million a year, which is absurd, absolutely absurd. I think we should also reduce the township solicitor rates to $100 an hour. What was it, $250,000 he's made so far in churning litigation and creating litigation situations where we got to spend all this money? It's crazy, and if our solicitor won't accept that rate, then we should find somebody that can do it at a lesser rate. Start cutting costs here, folks. Look to cut costs and reduce so that we can somehow come out of this quagmire that you're creating. I think we should also forego any and all design or construction-related fees and costs for the maintenance and restoration and/or restoration of the Heller Homestead rubble pile that Priscilla wants to resurrect. It makes no sense. I think we should sell the Heller Homestead. Sell the Heller Homestead because it's a money pit. We keep putting money into the windows, into the basement, into the heating system, into the roof and everything else. And what does it get us? Nothing. It's a cost to the township that cannot be justified, and we need to start looking to cut costs. Let's start there and let's sell the property if we can. And I think we should ask the solicitor to look into when we acquire that property, whether or not that property can be put back out onto the market, and maybe we can raise some revenue by selling that because of the cliff that we're on. And I think we should also request that Lower Saucon Fire Rescue also title all of the fire apparatus that Lower Saucon Township purchased or contributed to purchasing back in Lower Saucon Township's name. It's ridiculous that we would buy $1 million pieces of apparatus and give it away to anybody who's just going to try to hold it over our head and threaten to walk away with the apparatus that the taxpayers paid for. You know, the bad politicians that we have here on council and the ones who just got elected are the symptom. But really what the problem here is the laziness of the citizenship. That's the disease. The laziness and ignorance of the citizenship to pay attention to these issues. These folks up here have no idea what to do. They want to close the landfill and get rid of that money that's coming into the township. They have no plan whatsoever, and it's evident in this document. Now, in its second version, they've cut nothing whatsoever with this cataclysm on the horizon. These issues are not complex issues, but they don't want to look at any factual issues. They don't want to look at any analytical explanations, because they're so emotionally unstable, and they need to have their emotions satisfied in some way by attacking the landfill because they got landfill derangement syndrome, and not doing anything about the budget because none of them have any understanding on how to create and manage a budget. Certainly not one that's $9 or $10 million. They're always looking for a villain. The landfill is the villain here. Donald Trump is the villain. Tom is the villain. I'm the villain. You know what? I mean, they don't want explanations. All they want to do is they want to yell about things. They're against any type of thinking. They're against any type of fact-checking. They're against any type of making sense. They have their useful idiots that show up here. They have their hive mentality, and they swarm around. Yeah, I see it. I see you waving. Thank you for acknowledging that, Diane Hollowell, and dancing around. Diane Hollowhead, and you got Chad Heimacher dancing in the back as well for those folks that can't see this. You got your boomer geezers wetting their diapers every other council meeting because they're staying out after 6 o'clock because they get to hang out with their protester friends. And this is the type of mass hysteria you get, and this is what you end up with. And if you live in the township, you may want to second think living in the township because of what's going to happen to your property values and your taxes, because the collective IQ of these folks that are up here is a very, very low number. And they've got no ideas. There's nothing in this budget now that suggests any ideas to correct these problems. None. Absolutely no ideas whatsoever. They're idealist people that are against everything, and we're all going to pay a cost for it, and you're going to pay the cost of litigation as well, because I guarantee you the township's going to keep getting sued. Yeah, I guarantee you the township is going to keep getting sued, and when the settlements are going to be owed, like the $1.5 million that the landfill wants for its engineering fees, because of the violation of the Sunshine Act, and when the landfill goes away, or when the landfill cuts its host fee down from $9 down to $1 because that's all that they're required to pay to us, I told you so. I told you so. Own it.
Okay, can I go? Yes. I sat here tonight and I approved 2 resolutions to students that played on the baseball field and won their titles or whatever they won, and we acknowledged them. We acknowledged them. And we're very happy. I'm speaking.
Stop talking over her.
We acknowledge them for whatever they did.
The children to keep busy and do activities and whatever. And unfortunately, the 2 rows of students here were laughing at the antics of these 2 men.
Is this a budget? Is this a budget topic? Or you
But
just want to talk
anyway,
about children in the audience?
From a woman who's never had children or raised a child.
Very disappointing.
Never raised a child or had a child, has no idea what she's talking
We
about.
have
More job in 4 years.
Your job in 4 years.
students here are council liaisons, and thank you for being upstanding. But I want to bring this back to the Miracle League. I'm I'm sorry, that when the Miracle League was first built, okay?
She won't talk
they
about the
were-
$20,000 she wants to take from the
They
Little League.
were looking for donations for support because of a disabled child trying to play baseball. I mean, the pictures, the look on these kids' faces are priceless. And I started the donation to the Miracle League, and I'm very proud of doing that, and I will continue to as long as I have the majority of votes. And that is why I support that, because it is very important to provide that kind of service to children that would never be able to make it on a regular baseball team. And it's heartbreaking, so that's why.
Laura, can you recognize?
Lori?
Thank you. I made this motion, with a lot of hesitation.
She made a motion that said she didn't speak to it.
She went through a whole list of things. she spoke
That
of.
was the motion.
Pay attention.
I'm gonna start over. I made my motion with a lot of hesitation and a lot of thought, that went into
Thought about the
what we're
Hershey Spa,
currently-
spending a week there.
Some free chocolate.
Yeah.
what we are currently facing in our township. And I say that because with or without landfill tipping fees, our township is expanding its services and expanding its footprint beyond what our tax revenue and landfill money are bringing in. If you look at the trajectory, over the last 5 years, with all of that, not taking much to figure out, your services increased, COVID increased expenses for everybody, well above your typical 3% cost of living that had been the historic, thought process that we all looked at. Your COLA increases. Once COVID hit, everything changed. Expenses, supplies, everything went up, and we're not special in the township. Our services, our equipment,
Special to
our
serve.
personnel, our health insurance, all of that goes up, and it went up a lot more. During that time, we had a reduction in taxes. So we set ourselves in a motion where we were taking on increased expenses
Landfill, we're
while
giving us
we
$80
were
million
lowering
next 20 years.
our,
$80 million
we
for
were
landfill
lowering the
next 20 years.
revenue that we generated
80
from
million.
taxes.
80 million from landfill
So-
next 20 years if they don't fight it.
And
If our parents
I'll
don't fight
point
it.
out that
What are you gonna do?
Mr. Benonis and Mr. Carochi both had their opportunities to make their statements about the budget, make their complaints about expenditures, and I sat up here respectfully and allowed them to present their position. When I present my position continuously, the two of them jump on each other's back
Second.
and they decide to interrupt, to try and speak
She gets to
over,
speak twice.
because they don't want you to hear a differing opinion or a differing position on any of the things. They don't want anybody to fact check. They don't want anybody to sit here in a civil way and discuss things as adults. I am very concerned that our township is not preparing for expenses that have gone up, which we don't have control over.
She won't cut anything. We do.
And that's why
We cut.
in this budget, we have proposals to prepare for a long-term strategic plan that will handle whatever may come. So I want the residents to understand that, no, we're not here with blinders on.
Yes.
We're not here pretending that we don't understand what the situation is. However, we're also not going to sit up here in a hostile environment, be berated and insulted, and be put in a position where it's impossible to discuss the budget and its items in a professional and an adult way. So with the adjustments that I proposed in my motion, I think that it accurately reflects our current situation. We do have reserves which have been built up over time.
Illegally.
And
Illegally.
so with that, we are able to handle this, and we are able to handle
what we need moving forward so that we are not on a cataclysmic cliff moving forward.
Even their-
I find it very
Even their own
disingenuous,
controller- even
and
their own
I think
controller
that I
said
just
cut
need to
by
point this out. There was a comment made that we're spending so much, we're using so much, we're way beyond our budget. What are we doing? We're gonna fall off the cliff. Everything's gonna fall apart. I guess, you know, the atomic bomb is gonna drop on Lower Saucon Township, according to him, out of one side of his mouth. On the other side, he's suggesting that we propose cutting our budget, cutting our taxes even more. He wants to reduce millage rates to 1. He wants to cut our fire services, which which shocks me when you're looking at when we've presented and we've been shown the schedule for apparatus replacement, and we've also been shown the need that we need to incentivize our volunteerism, so we don't end up in a situation where we have to have a fully paid fire crew earlier than necessary. So while we're planning for those things, they want to just cut us off at the knees, and then claim we're spending too much. So I think moving forward, we're lining ourselves up for preparing for the future so that our taxpayers are not hit with sudden tax increases that would be unrealistic and unsustainable for them. And I think that our staff understands that moving forward, we will be able to develop an appropriate budget that provides the necessary services for our residents while also maintaining our budget. So that's why I made my motion. I'm happy to make it, and I am very happy for what we have looking forward. Because what we will be able to do is plan for our future for the reality, not just counting our chickens and keep on increasing our budget every year and keep on trying to find more land to dump garbage in. We're actually going to prepare for a future that we don't need that. And I'm very happy that we'll be able to do that.
Even their own controller said cut 10%. She's like, no, I won't cut anything. Still go to the Hershey Lodge and Resort or wherever they're going. The spa treatment on taxpayer dollars.
Tom, how many times have you been there? I guess that's where you go.
But I'm for.
I've never been at a single workshop
Right.
at Peace
I've been
Fest.
expanding-
I've never seen you at one.
I'm for expanding the landfill. Well, we have plenty of room. There's money.
But he turned down pay, and he didn't vote to give himself a
Okay,
raise.
I think we're all done with your
I
comments.
think he turned down pay, I think he didn't vote to give himself a
I'm
raise,
gonna
or he
say
raise, because he didn't deserve a
trying to
raise.
reduce the
Right.
fire tax is ridiculous. A lot of things said very untrue.
Like what?
Right, what?
We
Like
will,
what?
Like what?
that they're running off with the fire trucks, they are not doing that. The titling of the
Then they can
vehicles, the
title
one
them
that
back to
we
us,
paid
can't they?
for is titled for.
Yeah,
in
we
Lower
paid for
Saucon
75% of the other ones and they're not titled. You're wrong about
I
that.
think only one other truck, and we are handling that in the MOU that we are working
Yeah,
on,
sure,
which
right.
should
You're back.
be.
Right. Budgeting the money before the end of the
Will
year.
you let her speak so she can actually answer your
I know.
questions?
Shut up.
Yeah, if you shut
up, the
meeting would
go on a lot
Budgeting the money before you have the MOU. That's smart.
57
Okay,
days.
So,
That's smart.
I'm gonna call for a roll call so we can be done here.
57 days.
You got motions on motions, so I think
No, we just
I
had
think we
one
only
motion.
have
No,
one
because-
motion.
Yeah.
But because after Victoria made a motion, was it second, there was two other or
Well,
three
they don't
others.
need
Yeah.
it.
They're not motions, they're just comments.
Motion
Sure
on
you
the floor,
can.
which
No,
they
sure
should
you
know
can.
if they
They should
maybe
know
go to
better
than
dispatch training.
It's one motion.
They didn't learn how to do
All
that.
right, just so we're clear, there was the motion that was made initially, there was a second. There were proposed amendments, but the proposed amendments were never accepted.
Thank you, Steve, thank you
can't
for
amend
correcting
somebody
Priscilla's
else's
ignorance that I didn't make a second motion, I proposed amendments to it, dumbass.
But,
Seconded it.
so we're clear, we're voting,
PSATs,
excuse me, what we're voting on is the
That's 4
original
years
motion
late, still
made
don't
without
understand.
any amendments.
My motion is what it was.
And my
You want me to
second is what
state
it
it?
was.
No.
You can say it whatever you want, I'm stating mine.
Not again, Priscilla, you're through.
So to be clear, this is, the motion that was made by Ms. Optoff, or Derek.
Correct.
That's what you're voting on. No additions or modifications.
She did not modify it.
And I didn't modify my second.
Correct.
So the bottom line is, one $1,710,587 transferred from reserves.
Correct.
Thank you.
Time for a roll call, yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Benonis?
No.
Ms. Altough Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Carochi?
No.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-2.
All right, I'm gonna make a motion that, the proposed budget does not include any taxpayer funding of any and all costs and fees associated with attendance at PSATs, eliminating taxpayer-funded township council compensation, reducing local municipal tax to 1 mil until depletion of the reserve fund is 25% of the forecast annual expenditures, reducing the fire services tax to the December 2023 level, eliminating taxpayer funding for any landfill-related litigation, including but not limited to opposition to landfill expansion and/or violations of the Sunshine Act, reducing all township solicitor rates to $100 per hour or finding a solicitor who will accept those rates, foregoing any and all design and/or construction-related fees and costs for maintenance and/or restoration to Heller Homestead rubble pile, and requesting Lower Saucon Fire Rescue title all the township-funded fire apparatus back into Lower Saucon Township's name. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Tom.
Just for a
Let's
point
have
of
a
order,
discussion.
That motion is
Steve,
moved.
if we've already voted as a majority to advertise based upon my motion,
We moved
you
it
can't
out.
do another
Your
motion.
motion was to amend it. Your
No.
motion was not to advertise it as amended.
I moved to authorize the advertising. That was the first sentence.
No.
So we can move on to the next agenda item, because this agenda item's already been voted on.
Thank you.
You can't have a second?
They don't, I did second.
It doesn't matter.
Okay. There it is, folks. They don't want you, they don't want to know the reality. There it is again.
Yeah.
So you put under the rug,
5B,
pay your
discussion
taxes.
and approval of the revised 2026 minimum municipal obligations. We're given updated information. I don't know if this is something Jay wants to.
Yeah, I can touch on that. We had a revised amount from the actuary. One of the wages was incorrect, so he adjusted it for us. So that's a new report from the actuary. That's why we needed to do a new resolution.
Is it being revised up or down?
I believe one is up and one is down. The non-uniform is down and the uniform is up.
Thank you.
Sure.
I'll make the motion that we revise, I don't know if we need a motion, it's in the budget with the revisions of the MMOs. Do we need a?
You need a motion because it's got to be sent into the,
Okay, well, I'll make a motion that we accept these revised MMOs.
Second. I didn't have a roll call.
Ms. Altough Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Carochi?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Benonis?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
5C is authorization to execute the agreement between Lower Saucon Township and Heritage Conservancy. I'll make a motion that we execute this agreement for the year of 2026 through December 31st, 2026 between Lower Saucon Township and Heritage Conservancy.
Second.
Discussion?
Jay,
Yeah.
who has to put this on the agenda?
they sent us a updated agreement. I reviewed it, sent it to Steve to review. It's updating the agreement that was most recently in place.
They, you're referring to the Heritage Conservancy?
Correct.
Okay. And Steve, why is the Heritage Conservancy services needed?
Been traditionally utilized in the past. This agreement is substantially similar to what we had in prior years. Therefore, they presented it, and we're presenting it before council.
That didn't answer my question. My question is why?
That's a question for township council feels it's appropriate, then you vote for it. If township council doesn't feel it's appropriate, you don't vote for it.
My question to you as a solicitor is why is an agreement with the Heritage Conservancy required?
There's no agreement with anybody that's necessarily required. It's whether or not township council feels it's appropriate to enter into.
Okay, what is the the benefit of entering into this Heritage Conservancy agreement, Steve, if any?
They provide certain services as outlined.
What are those services?
What's outlined in the agreement?
Okay, so as I understand it, they are providing services to agree to be a third-party beneficiary to conservation easements, is that correct?
What's in the agreement? I'm not gonna go through this, so.
Well, you're an attorney, aren't you, Steve?
We're not gonna go through this.
Right, because you know you're gonna walk into a trap here, right? Because that trap is this. This is such fraud. You have litigation against the landfill. You three clowns have initiated litigation against the landfill, and been involved in litigation against the landfill, wherein conservation easements were removed for the landfill expansion, or in part of the landfill expansion. And in that situation, those conservation easements were removed because they could be removed because there was no third-party beneficiary. And you are admitting, at least tacitly, that you need to have third-party beneficiaries for conservation easements to be valid. And that is the reason why we are entering in, why you are proposing that we enter into this agreement. So your hypocrisy is on full display to the public. In one breath, you're saying in litigation that you can't take off those conservation easements. And now you're proposing that we spend $15,000 a pop for every conservation easement that is going to be monitored, where the Heritage Conservancy is going to be the third-party beneficiary, because you know that for a conservation easement to be undoable, that you need to have a third-party beneficiary. That's the hypocrisy of this. And you're going to spend township money on this, so which is it? Do we need a third-party beneficiary for a conservation easement, or don't we? Because when the landfill litigation, you're saying that you can't, and now you're saying that, well, we need this because otherwise the conservation easements can be invalidated. So there you have it. And you're gonna spend $15,000 for every conservation easement, and then you got the fee schedule that's on here. President and CEO William Kunz, $175 an hour. Conservation Acquisition Specialist Matt Babbitt, $95 an hour. Conservation Acquisition Specialist Kim Johnson, $95 an hour. Conservation Acquisition Specialist Tara Camp, $95 an hour. Easement Stewardship Manager Katie Toner, $80 an hour. Conservation Biologist Sebastian Harris, $80 an hour. Land Conservation Manager Jim Drennan, $100 an hour. Senior Conservation Biologist Tyler Kovacs, $90 an hour. So you're spending $15,000 a pop for conservation, per conservation easement, and then you got additional billable rates for the Resource Protection Department of the Heritage Conservancy, which, in one side of your mouth, you're saying isn't necessary to maintain a conservation easement, and the other, you're saying it is necessary, and that's why you're proposing this agreement. It's insanity. We're broke, we're going broke, and this is the kind of money you want to spend. Craziness.
I agree. I mean, it's just they're just lining the pockets of the Heritage Conservancy with township taxpayer dollars for really no reason whatsoever.
And our solicitor
And it's
won't even
open-ended.
acknowledge what's happening.
Yeah.
He won't even explain what this agreement means and why they're doing it. That's how feckless he is.
I mean, it's open-ended, which is concerning. So, yeah, it's disgraceful. It's disgraceful that they're gonna line the pockets of this conservancy.
So it's not really quite open-ended, this will be on any
Yeah.
properties
Right.
that come in that we
Right.
work on.
That's
for
open-ended. That's
conservation.
open-ended. You don't have, how many
We
are gonna
haven't
come
had
in?
very many,
Right.
quite a
You have
long
no
time.
idea.
You get 1,000.
Right, you get 1,000,
And
that's
the
right.
$15,000 fee, which would be, if we would choose to do that, to have the monitoring in perpetuity.
When do we need it?
These are,
When do we need it? You're the
this
issue. Why do we
is
need it?
to ensure, and we have had cases where people have their properties in conservation easement and then they do things to it which are not allowed.
I thought our zoning took care of
So, that is not a zoning issue per se.
it, per se.
So that is
Per
what
se.
the $15,000 covers. That comes from our open space funding, which we,
They don't think that's taxpayer dollars, it is.
it is, but it serves a purpose to make sure our properties are properly handled.
She says that it's
So
not taxpayer dollars.
unfortunately, you don't understand conservation easements at all, I know that.
I think I just talked about it.
Yeah.
People do
So-
And you have, when he asked our solicitor to explain the agreement, we
Laura,
didn't
can
got
I be
nothing.
recognized real quick?
So we got nothing, yeah, we got
Thank
nothing.
you.
What are you to explain to me?
So,
Please.
I'm
Well, I
happy
can't
to
even
support,
read.
happy to support this because what I saw for the years before I came on council, and what I found out after I came on council, is that when we initiated our open space fund and we started purchasing open space properties, we did have properties that were managed and ensured that they were properly conserved and that they stayed within the boundaries of the conservation easement, and that they had a third party associated with them. At some point, before I came on council, there were members of council or a solicitor, I don't know who just decided that they didn't need to do that anymore. So people were in good faith entering into our open space program. They wanted to conserve their property by putting an easement or by selling their land to us, and they thought they were putting their land in open space. And unbeknownst to them, our township was creating a scenario where our township can just give away the property to somebody whenever they want. Because the township solicitor and some members of council decided that they want to be able to do that in the future, and that therefore they don't want to have a third party, so that they don't have to deal with keeping it in open space. So I am very happy to do this because we are restoring what our residents, what our taxpayers expected. We paid for 15 years extra EIT in order to generate an open space fund so that we could acquire open space, and our township council is responsible to make sure that we do the right thing and that we preserve that open space and honor what the voters' referendum was, which was to have open space and to keep it open space, not to give it away. And now he's arguing and making fun of the fact that these residents who did that in good faith are now we're going to do the right thing, and he thinks that's a bunch of garbage.
I'm making fun of you.
He thinks it's a bunch of garbage.
No, I'm making
And
fun
I
of you
think
because you're a hypocrite.
I think the voters have spoken on this. They spoke for 15 years, and now we're here to make sure that we restore the open space and to what it was supposed to be, and make sure that our conservation easements remain conserved.
Thank you for acknowledging that they didn't exist with regard to the conservation easements around.
I never acknowledged anything for you.
You just did. You just did acknowledge it. Thank you for doing that.
Okay, are we ready for roll call?
You take that argument out of the
Roll
brief.
call.
Mr. Carochi?
No. No.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Benonis?
No.
Ms. Altough Cordero?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-2.
Ruth?
Okay, 5D, appointment to Lower Saucon Authority Board vacancy. I'll make the motion to appoint David Wardle to the Lower Saucon Authority Board to fill the term ending 12/31/2028. Do I have a second?
I thought we used to get information about these people, like resume, what their background was.
Did you hear me, Laura? I said second.
Besides, like, just that one paragraph, 2 paragraphs.
Mr. Crowe, he submitted an application. The application was actually forwarded to the authority. The authority met with him during one of their regular meetings, and he came back with it. He has, in his statement here, he has over 20 years' experience in environmental health and safety, and budgeting and forecasting, and strategic planning.
Good, maybe you can help them get that pump station that's 26 years in the making and way over budget from what the original cost was gonna cost. Maybe they can get it over.
Okay, can we have a roll call?
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Benonis?
He left for the record.
Sorry, I can see that. Ms. Altough Cordero?
Oh, you know.
Yes.
Mr. Carochi?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0. Mr. Benonis stepped away for a few moments.
Okay, next item is 6A, approval of the October 15th, 2025 council minutes. I'll make the motion that we approve the council minutes.
Second.
Minutes are incomplete and completely inaccurate.
call, please.
Yes,
Ms. Wright?
roll call. Yes.
Mr. Benonis is not present. Ms. Aptow Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Carochi?
No.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Motion passes 3 to 1, one absent.
Okay, item 6B is the approval of the September 2025 financial reports. I'll make the motion that we approve the reports as presented.
Second.
And we have a roll call.
Mr. Benonis is absent. Ms. Aptow Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Carochi?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Motion passes 4 to 0
With one absent.
with one absent.
We have an item 6C for a zoning officer report. And it's a surprise.
I believe
know what
that,
it is.
I believe you guys were supplied with a memo from our conflict solicitor regarding the recent violation notice that was rescinded.
No,
No.
I didn't get the memo.
No.
I didn't get a memo.
Evidently, the memo was not provided, so
No.
I'll give a
See,
brief
it's a
overview.
surprise.
I'm sorry.
Why can't we
I was
get the
told that it
memo?
would, I was told that it would be provided, but a brief overview. Conflict solicitor, Attorney Hannah had decided that we rescind the violation notice and redo it together, and that is what we're going to do.
Hold on, this
What
is,
is it?
what property is this, the Waldheim property?
Beethoven Waldheim, yes.
So this is the
1991
one we
Waldheim.
voted, it was the last meeting we voted to send to zoning with our solicitor, or our special solicitor, I thought his name was Mr. Call.
Attorney Hand is from Attorney Hoffman's office.
Okay, but Mr. Kaufman was handling it originally?
Correct, yeah.
He attended meetings?
He attended the one meeting, yes.
Okay, so there was a notice of violation filed.
Right, yeah.
And then when was that repealed, reversed?
October 27th, I believe.
How many hours before the meeting?
I can't recall the amount of hours.
A couple hours before the meeting?
Yeah, probably 5, 6
Oh,
hours.
all right. That's the first notice the applicant received that it was being withdrawn?
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
Was it was withdrawn with or without prejudice?
What do you?
You have the right to refile, you think? You believe?
Yes, yeah.
You believe you have the right to refile? And that's your intention?
Yeah, Attorney Hannah intends, we intend to refile, yes, he is instructed us that we have the right to refile, yes.
Right. And because it was flawed, right?
Correct, yeah.
What were the flaws?
I'm not sure if that's something that we necessarily can discuss at a public meeting. The inner workings of enforcement notice aren't typically something that we discuss at a public meeting.
Did you notify the applicant of the flaws?
The one that was up there on the screen.
I don't believe that.
The
So it was screwed
was
up.
put up on the screen? that you-
Attorney Hannah felt that the violation notice could be fleshed out, and if the attorney feels that that's the correct route to take, then I will follow.
You may recall at that meeting, I said we have a labor attorney handling zoning,
I think Patty.
because they were our labor attorneys.
I-
And we had to have a special appointment of them to handle special projects. And it had to be made retroactive to January 1st. And it was screwed up,
But I don't
right?
know if we put it online.
The appointment,
I'm not
No,
or the
no.
violation?
The violation notice.
Right.
It was screwed up.
So
We had a solicitor,
The original.
we had a labor attorney
So
doing
I'll ask
zoning.
her. I don't remember.
And at the initial meeting, who's at the initial
What if we
meeting?
do the
You,
20-day inspection?
Mr. Kaufman,
Attorney Hoffman, Jay, myself, the applicant, and his attorney,
I'll find out.
the property owner.
so that's what we're getting for our money, incompetent representation, that apparently can't even put a notice of violation together without screwing it up so badly. A couple hours before the meeting, they have to withdraw it from the zoning after you would assume the applicant prepared. The zoning hearing board of volunteers have probably read any preliminary information that was provided to them, correct? That was provided to them earlier, prior to the meeting, right? Right, you usually get it Thursday or Friday?
I can't attest to what the zoning
Usually
hearing
get
board
it Thursday or
members
Friday,
do.
right. So you wasted everybody's time. You, the township incurred expenses, legal fees, other people incurred legal fees.
If the
And
attorney
you guys
makes,
screwed up.
if the attorney makes a suggestion, I'm gonna follow the
Yeah,
attorney's suggestion.
I'm not arguing about that. I'm not saying that you necessarily did the wrong thing by withdrawing. I'm saying, why can't we get it right?
I'm not entirely sure how to answer your question.
Right, because it's.
The answer is, the answer, Tyler, is, we got it wrong, we'll try better and get it right the next time. That's the answer.
That's the answer you're looking for?
That's the answer.
Yeah. You're asking,
Right.
good answer, Tyler.
They never had
Next.
they never had these problems when we had zoning full-time.
Know about these problems.
So,
Next.
that's interesting. And what about the other one? There's another one that's on too, right?
Who cares?
The other one was the Frolic Park property, and the zoning hearing board found that the enforcements were enforced, all 7 of them, and the property owner now has 30 days to file an appeal.
Which property, Jay?
Frolic.
621 Lower Saucon Road.
So that also was supposed to have a hearing?
No, did have a hearing, and all the violation notices were unanimously upheld
Okay. By the zoning hearing.
by the zoning hearing.
All right, you got that one right. Good job. Well, I guess 1 out of 2 is 50%. All right.
So are we meeting this report?
Yep, and it is. We
Okay.
can go to reports.
All right, so council reports, Jay, do you have a manager?
Sure. Out in the lobby, there is a box for Emily's Hug Me Drive. It's a collection of squashmallows. They request only new squashmallows, and they'll be gifted to immune-compromised children. And Emily's goal this year is to collect 1,000 of them. The police department is participating in No Shave November. They donate $50 to Not Shave, and the money goes to the St. Luke's Health Network for Cancer Compassion. If anyone would like to join the department in this great cause, you can drop off a donation from 9 to 4 in the at the police department. Yesterday, I believe I received an email from Councilperson Benonis wanting to know why the reports at the landfill included overweight trucks. They're required by the DEP to submit on a monthly basis to the DEP of the vehicles that enter their property that are overweight. That was confirmed by a representative of the DEP. And then I also checked with the police department that there is other overweight enforcement that goes on in the township. In 2024, there was 10 vehicles that were cited for being overweight, and so far this year, there have been 13 at various locations throughout the township. The compost center's last day is Saturday, November 22nd, and they will operate from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for anyone that wishes to drop off materials. That's all I would have.
All right. Tom, do you have a report?
What was that about? No, I'll save that for next time. I'll do some more research on that. No, I'm good, actually.
Okay. Priscilla?
Yes, I have several things. I attended the Parks and Rec Board meeting on Monday via phone. I also had complained to DEP about 2 odor complaints within the past 2 weeks. I also like to say that the chamber is doing Light Up Night at the Mink Park on Friday, November 28th from 5 to 8. And Jay, following up on your DEP overweight thing, I just like to read for the record that Stacy, thank you for sending this on November 3rd, attached the BL being Bethlehem landfill overweight report for October is available for your review. And then Jason on November 3rd wrote back, can we update this list to include all overweight vehicles involved in accidents, including everywhere in the township, such as the truck illegally carrying Bethlehem School District waste to a non-landfill site and failed to navigate the steepness of windup? Or is the township's record keeping more selective persecution of the landfill, which just like every other property business owner has no control over, which happens on public roads? Can't make this stuff up. So then on November 4th, Jay wrote Jason, the township does not generate this report. I will ask the chief for issues handled by LSTPD. The vehicle on Frederick was not overweight, which was in all the reports we got. And then Jason on November 4th writes, that's my point, Jay. Why does the township single out one property business owner for the activities of trucks operating illegally on township roads and not hold all accountable for the illegal operation everywhere? Maybe Priscilla can explain this at tomorrow's meeting. This stinks of a long history of more anti-landfill selective persecution and bias. So what I did was I contacted Roger Bellis and asked him to respond. And he said, Priscilla, all Pennsylvania landfills are required to submit these monthly overweight reports. And then he referred to a letter that was dated March 15, 2024, that all landfills received. And as a synopsis of that letter, the Pennsylvania DEP has updated its monthly reporting requirements for overweight waste vehicles. Facilities must now submit a simplified spreadsheet by the 5th of each month, listing daily records for any single vehicle over 73,280 pounds or any combination over 80,000 pounds. Each entry must include the vehicle's weight, registration plate, state, owner's contact information, the date and time of weighing, and the date the scale was last tested. DEP has classified that this data will not be used for direct enforcement against facilities or haulers, but will help DEP, PennDOT, and state police identify inspection locations. Excuse me. I gotta drink something. Sorry. Each entry must include the vehicle's weight, registration plate, and state owner's contact information, the date and time of weighing, and the date the scale was last tested. I'm not gonna make it. DEP has clarified that this data will not be used for direct enforcement against facilities or haulers. But can you finish reading that for me, please? I'm just gonna keep coughing.
But will help DEP, PennDOT, and state police identify inspection locations and reduce overweight traffic statewide. The spreadsheet must follow the format provided by DEP, especially for columns E and F, and be sent to ra-wtsp@pa.gov and the appropriate regional office. Questions can be directed to the DEP's Division of Reporting and Fee Collection at 717-783-9258, end quote.
Okay, thank you. That was the gist of the reporting thing. Was not picking on the landfill. It is a state requirement for all landfills, and just wanted to point that out. Just like the sponsorship donations that they are required to give annually, I think they're $1,000 to maybe 12 students. That is also a requirement by the harms benefit analysis that they're required to do. So I guess that's all I have. Thank you.
Victoria?
Yeah,
Excuse me. I know.
Contagious.
Contagious.
I want to just address the resident's comment that lives on Wassergass. I think I had asked at the beginning to have Jay try to get the information that she was asking about so we could provide that to her during the meeting that was unfortunately being interrupted at that time.
Mrs. Polak.
Mrs. Polak, yes. We just did have our third quarter landfill committee meeting, so I encourage residents to please watch that. They can get updated information on current landfill activities as well as discussion of ongoing maintenance and ongoing, I would say, repairs to address the outstanding violations that the landfill does have and they're trying to remediate. So I would encourage everybody to look at that. We have, I believe, some outstanding violations from 2024 that are still being worked on. Specifically, the southeastern corner has some odors that are difficult to manage, and so they've been trialing different things to manage that, and I think that they're doing additional wells to try and capture additional gas. But I want everybody to know that when we do have those issues, they generally do take a significant amount of time because of identifying what the problem is, also identifying how to solve the problem, and then seeing if the solution proposed actually works. And this is a case example of a situation where even when you try the different things proposed that the DP and the landfill agree upon, it doesn't always work, and you have to continue working. And that's something that the township would continue to have to manage and oversee and contend with as we move forward with the landfill. You just never know what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. It's a highly engineered site, and anything can happen at any time. I also want to congratulate all of the candidates who ran for Lower Saucon Township Council. I think everybody was running a fair campaign, and I appreciate that they stayed above board for the most part in addressing other candidates, so I appreciate that. And I want to congratulate the people who did succeed, both on the school board and on Lower Saucon Township Council, and I look forward to working with them as we move forward. All right, my report.
Is this thing on anymore? It seems soft. All right, so I have a report as well. On the 21st, I attended a webinar session on digital defense for cybersecurity. It's a topic I would like to pick up and move on for this upcoming year, kind of fizzled off. October 28th, I attended another webinar session on storm basins, and the Parks and Rec meeting was on Monday night this week. We had a special presentation by Jennifer Helton and Paige Strasco. They had worked to secure a grant through the Watershed Coalition of Lehigh Valley, which we had mentioned a few months ago. In the upcoming week, they will be out at the Heller Homestead Park doing some invasive plant management along with some tree planting. So that'll be the start of their project. They'll be coming back then in the spring to do other parts, which would include mulching the paths and installing some new signs that we're having made. The old signs have kind of deteriorated and some are broken and missing. So they're working on some metal signs that will be installed next year. And that is my report.
Okay, did somebody note the time that Jason and Tom left the meeting? Okay, thank you.
Steve, do you have any report?
I do not, thank you.
Okay. We have an engineer here, so move on to public comment for people who would like to speak, come up to the podium.
Hi, good evening. This is short and sweet. My name is Virginia Stangline. I'm from Old Philadelphia Pike. I just wanted to make a comment about 3C, the conditional use hearing regarding 3667, Route 378. Just to say that this is another property where we have former home of a longstanding Lower Saucon Township residents, Ed and Helen Rader, and their family. And while it may be that home isn't one that you look at to preserve or to feel it's appropriate anymore with the different buildings that's changed on the road, I just think, just to mention it, it would be a sad thing to me to see that home come down. But I'm not making any comment about the use of the land. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
We have to sign this? Okay, Diane Hollowell. I'm gonna do a Jason Bononis dance here after the victory. Congratulations to Chad and Hunter on their victory, their landslide victory. I have to say I was a little insulted when Mr. Bononis called the taxpayers. This is for all you watching out there. He called us ignorant. The ignorance of the citizens and the laziness caused that landslide victory. I was pretty insulted with that. What I really don't understand is they said the ladies tonight don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to figure out a budget. Well, you know what? Send them to PSATs. Like, I don't understand. That doesn't make sense. You want them to go. Well, I just checked. There's one coming up. It's $289. It's in Briningsville. So I don't understand why they can't go. And Karochi is like fixated on Hershey. Like, somebody, can we maybe start a fundraiser or something, a raffle that we can send him there? I do have some chocolate shampoo left after the last conference I was there. I might bring it to the next conference. But congratulations again to Chad and Hunter. It's going to be awesome. Maybe next time there will only be one policeman here. And I'm hoping more people come to these meetings since they won't go until all hours and it will be more civilized. So, congratulations again.
Thank you.
Ditto.
Any more comments? You know, it's not really special to be last. You can go at any time.
Really?
Yes,
Thank you.
really.
Good time. You want to go, madam? All right. Well, it's really sad that you have to go to PSAT and enjoy all these things. I'll tell you, I mentioned this before. I was on a planning board, and the first requirement before you got on it was you had to go to Rutgers for 6 months on your own nickel. So I don't want to hear about PSAT, and you have to go there so you can learn how to plan. That's really pathetic. The fact is that what I heard tonight, $250,000 for our legal fees already. Oh my gosh, boy, that's just wonderful. And now we're going to have the Heller Homestead, and we need to spend a lot more money here. I'm looking at the rates on this thing. Somebody read them off the chart. Oh, it's 175, 95, 95 an hour, 95, 80, 80, 80. And how many of these people are going to spend just one person's not going to be working on this? And there is no budget for this Heritage Conservancy. It's open-ended. And now I understand there's something about we have to have a third party in order to move this suit in some direction that the people that are being sued want to have it moved in because they're getting a little nervous. That's what it sounds like to me. The public hopefully can make up their own minds on it. What else do we have here? A lot of things, unfortunately. I'm still very much unhappy about the promises that the last set of candidates who are now sitting in the majority had said, oh, you're going to get 3 minutes for everything you want to talk on. We're going to let you talk and talk and talk. And the only one that talks and talks is our friend up here, Victoria. She goes on endlessly. And yes, Victoria, all your rules and regulations about interrupting people, you are the primary person that breaks those. You just blast right in there and say whatever you want. So the public knows that, and that's one of the values of knocking on doors. Yeah, I have to say congratulations to Mondami too. He's a great guy. And I'll tell you, it just goes to show you what you can do if you're a Democrat. All right, so you guys need to work a little harder. In terms of Chad, in terms of Hunter, I haven't seen him around at all. And there's Miss, look at the disgusting manners of Priscilla. She's sitting there chewing and got stuff in her mouth. She can't say anything, but she can hold up a sign. You don't say anything about that, do you, Virginia? Isn't it amazing how you work those things? All right, fire services, yeah, they should return the trucks to ownership of the township. The cost for endless things, okay? The Heller Homestead, I go by there all the time, I never see anybody there. Nobody's there. We ought to be spending millions on that, especially rebuilding the barn. And I clearly see the plastic over the boulders. Well, I'll tell you, that's gonna save them forever. All right, so what else do we have here?
Is there a time limit?
All right, is there a time limit?
Are you on council? Well, there's a time limit, he's abusing it.
I would be quiet, because you're not
Well,
on council.
stop talking.
Okay.
You have your comments.
I thought we had a rule here, Laura Ray, about, Laura Ray, I'm sorry, I thought we had a rule, she's interrupting me. How about that?
Done with your comments.
There you go. See, it's good if you're a Democrat, but if you're a conservative, just shut them down. Shut them up, shut them down, and lie to them. How about that? That's what it is. Oh, I'm sorry. Madam, you were next, I guess, unless you want to talk again.
I can after her.
You do, endlessly.
Anne Marie Slavic, Lower Saucon Township. I just want to say for the record, somebody mentioned the new councilman Chad was going to be so much more civil when he gets on council. I hope everybody checked out his Facebook post about Charlie Kirk. He's really civil and sweet. Kirk didn't deserve to be killed, neither do innocent kids at school, but he was not a good or honest man, and it's embarrassing how so many otherwise decent people fell for it. He also says, I'm a pacifist. He wasn't a pacifist tonight after Donald Letter spoke at the podium. He actually violated the rules that you guys made, that you ladies made, sorry, and he actually spoke to Donna as she came off the podium. For all the people that are listening or will listen from the public that didn't get to hear that, yes, he did make a rude comment to her when she came off the podium, and she answered him. And she was told to shut up, and she was told to get out. But he sat there and continued to make his comments. So I see that's how it's going to be, socialism here at Lower Saucon Township. And Marxism too, which I failed to mention last time I was up here, which is basically, you shut up if we don't agree with you. And we will speak and you will not speak. So anyway, going back to Chad's Facebook, let's see, Charlie Kirk was a human parasite who spewed hateful and divisive rhetoric, which had indirectly harmed countless people and his grifting. So that's the sweet Chad that's gonna be on council. I can't wait. So anyway, I would like to see the council women speak to their supporters who are in the audience, who are always disruptive, who are always yelling out, making comments, and rude. And I was called an a-hole in the hallway earlier. I didn't say one word, but I was called an a-hole. To which I responded to Lynn Hill that she should take a finance class. And instead of going to PSATs and spending the taxpayers' money, you should all go take a budget and finance class. And you could pay for PSATs yourselves if you want to go. Or get some of your supporters to fund it for you, some of your wealthy supporters that are in the township. Anyway, I just want to comment really quick on, it's funny how our township is always trying to micromanage other businesses that are in the township, which again, is a miracle that we have a gentleman who wants to open a business in this township. On 378, where they drag race at 3 o'clock in the morning to and from South Bethlehem, driving like fools, driving over the speed limit, flying across the line to pass everybody. We're worried about, this business should not have lights. The business can't have lights. The business is on 378. You just approved, or you were approving of a gas station that's gonna open eventually when they decide to build it. that's gonna have lights 24/7, but the gentleman cannot have lights on his business. And you know what, for the people that are, whose cars are gonna be parked there, when they get broken into, then maybe they could call Priscilla at 3 o'clock in the morning. Make sure that, you know, the police know that, they could call her. Okay, thanks.
Do we have more comment?
Marco's gonna come back, and I am gonna reiterate the same thing that I said at the beginning of the meeting. Revert everything back to when Mark Hudson was manager, and start fresh. You got 3 more meetings with Benonis and Carochi, and then they're gone. Woo. Hey. When you go through Graterford, and you go through Western Penitentiary, you learn to look around, and you grow eyes in the back of your head. So you pay attention to people, both good and bad. And I'm paying attention. I wish the rest of the residents would, because frankly, I think the citizens of Lower Saucon Township made a mistake not putting me on the board. I've been here since December of 2022, watching the antics of everybody. Everybody's got fault. Every one of you. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, if you want, if the PFAS, I don't know what it is, PFAP, whatever you call it. If it's some kind of class and it's educational, maybe you should pay for it yourself. Maybe the township residents shouldn't pay for it. I know one thing, it seems like the zoning book is how thick? How thick is the township zoning book? Give me an estimate.
You want me to estimate?
Come on, like this.
The zoning ordinance? The code of ordinance is a lot larger, yes.
Probably take half of them and throw them in the trash. Because what I witnessed tonight about the guy trying to open a garage, just some shit's uncalled for. You make things so difficult. And as far as people wanting to put land in preservation, I don't know why anybody would want to do that. I heard Ginger's story. I listened to it more than once, and I know how much money it cost her. If people were smart, they'd just keep their own land and not build on it. And not give it to the township. And then their families can do with it what they want when they're dead and gone. But the township needs change. Serious change. And less lawsuits, and less courtrooms. And more people like me, a blue-collar general, low-bum worker, to come in and do things. It's sickening.
Do we have more? Anybody else? I'll say no, yeah, no.
Adjourn.
Well, the time is 9:44, we adjourn the meeting.
Gotta make a motion.
I just adjourned.
Another fantastic speech.
Wants to know where other money is one right there.
Across the street, yeah, I can grab it.
Well, they're both together, so.
Actually, there's 2 of my signs in the hall. Yeah, you can grab it.
care what the fuck, I don't give a shit what you think.